Yes, guys, welcome back. It is the Liverpool show, guys. We are back. We are back. We are back after a little hiatus during the World Cup. But yeah, it's time to talk about Liverpool Football Club again. Well, there's a little break in the World Cup, guys. Back to the normal scheduling. How is everyone? I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for coming in already this afternoon. This will be the normal 12:30 shows going forward after the World Cup as well, guys. As I said before. I'm going to have a bit more schedule to the show going forward after the World Cup from now on, so everyone knows what time I'm live. Even if you missed the show, you know what time I was live during the day, guys. So you can go back and watch it. So Monday to Friday, every day of the working week, I'll be live at 12:30 in the afternoon. It might be an half-hour show, it might be an hour show, it might be a 2-hour show. Depends what we're chatting about, but I will be live 12:30 in the afternoon, Monday to Friday, and then I'll be live every evening as well, Monday to Friday. But 6 o'clock on Mondays, 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, 8 o'clock on Thursday, 6 o'clock on Friday, and then obviously the weekend will be free for football watch-alongs, reviews, predictions, all the good stuff. So big up to everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Before we start, guys, let's just quickly talk about the World Cup. World Cup's been good so far. Some really good matches. Took a little bit of while to get the World Cup going, I thought. Took about a week, 10 days. But after that, it's been good so far. I've been enjoying it, doing the watch-alongs and that. Last few games have been excellent. Portugal getting looking absolutely amazing without Ronaldo is hilarious. Ronaldo having a strop because he was a substitute is hilarious. Messi looking amazing while Ronaldo's looking old is hilarious. Yeah, I just find all that funny. You know what I'm saying? I just find all that funny. But yeah, F the World Cup for a minute. Let's talk about club football, guys. Let's just talk about club football. Liverpool Football Club. You know what I'm saying, guys. The Liverpool show. We're back. Not long now till we play Manchester City in the cup. The Carabao Cup on the 22nd of December, and then we're back for Premier League action on Boxing Day against Aston Villa. Man, lot to look forward to, no doubt. And before we get involved in all that, don't forget to smash the like button, guys. Go and hit that like button right now. Smash the like button up. Subscribe if you're new as well, guys. On the way to 3K. And yeah, we've got a lot to chat about in this episode today. We're going to talk about FSG and the selling of the club, the consortium looking to buy Liverpool. Is it true? What have I heard? The news, the rumours. Jude Bellingham. Jurgen Klopp is pushing hard for Jude Bellingham. There's talk today from people that know better than anyone, the media out in Germany, Christian Falk, people like that who know a lot what they're talking about. Plittenberg, another journalist who knows what they're talking about, highly regarded journalists out in Germany that are basically saying Liverpool are firm favourites to buy Jude Bellingham, and they're pushing very hard. There's already been a lot of contact. They've spoke to family. The family of Jude Bellingham wants Jude to go to Liverpool as well. And yeah, and then you got Agent Hendo and Agent Trent out in Dubai right now. And then you got that video that did the rounds the other day, which I don't think was meant to be plastered on any live social media at all. I think it was meant to be a bit of a private video, but it went over to social media. Basically, Hendo almost confirming that Liverpool buying Jude Bellingham. So it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. But yeah, got a lot to talk about. And obviously the Dubai Cup. The Dubai Cup, which starts tomorrow, I do believe. With Liverpool versus Lyon, and then Liverpool versus AC Milan in Dubai Cup. Obviously, Arsenal are involved in that competition as well. Liverpool got a lot of players in that competition. We've only still got Alisson, Fabinho, Henderson, and Trent. I think are still away. I'm trying to think who else. I think that might be it. So yeah, it's going to be a lot to talk about, guys. A lot on the show to talk about. But before we start all that, let me just get to everyone in the chat. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the proper show. Hope you're doing good. We got Nothing But Chaos. How you doing? Hey, Jamie. Hey, and chat. You never walk alone. Hope you're doing well. Gargoyle, how you doing, my man? Come on, bring Bellingham to Liverpool. I hope the deal is very close soon. And get rid of the FSG group and replace it with another winning owning team. I saw yesterday 8% of the fans supporting this. Could be even more. Big up 6 times. How you doing, my friend? Jude rejected Madrid. Yes, he did. Karma for taking Tuchemeni from us. I never thought. I believe I was one of the ones that said it on here, guys, that I just don't see Jude Bellingham going to Real Madrid. Firstly, I don't think Real Madrid need Jude Bellingham. They've got Camavinga and Tuchemeni and Valverde. There's no room. Like, there's no who else they go. Like, it's just that's why I said I don't think that was completely true. Big up Baz, how you doing? Hallie in the house saying, "Hey Jude." Big up Anthony doing. The Portuguese were breathtaking. Yeah, that Portuguese performance yesterday in the World Cup was probably the best performance from an individual team this World Cup so far. That Ramos was sharp as attack. Not the Ramos that I would like to see suffer multiple misfortunes. No, Cancelo Ramos, he was excellent yesterday. He was excellent. Good hat-trick for him. Played really well. Yes, but I don't think they have a chance against France in the semi. England versus France will be close and tight, but eventually France will grab it. I guess France was still in the final, which Netherlands, but they're going to lose the ball. Yeah, I mean, personally for the World Cup, guys, I would love if England can't win the World Cup, I'd love Argentina to, just for Messi. That's just my preference. If England can't win the World Cup, I'd love Argentina to do it just for Lionel Messi. That just my preference alone. I think Argentina might be a lot of everyone's second team in this World Cup because of the Messi factor. But I think England going to beat France. I think England are going to beat France. Well done, Portugal, but Ronaldo is still a tool. And should be kept on the bench. They should. Morocco look tight as a drum. Yeah, that Morocco-Portugal game is not easy for Portugal at all. Yes, I agree. They're much better without him, and we saw it very clear. Big up John in the house. John, if you're around, I can send you the link. No worries. Big up Panoff. How you doing? Big up Lakers. Here we again. It's back. Hope you're all doing well. Agent Hendo and Trent have done their job now on to Liverpool to get him paid a fee, get the player. Bit chesty, John got slight infection. Otherwise, I hope you're all right, Panoff. Tough shit on Spain, but we need a good shock. The gossip says Real Madrid won't pay 100 million for Jude. FSG need to make it happen. Big up John Conway. Big up Patrick. Virgil. Oh yeah, Virgil's the other one as well. So Virgil, Fabinho, Allison, Trent, and Hendo. Is that the 5? Is it just 5 away now? Because Darwin's back, ain't he? Trying to think. Is that it? I can't remember right now. Yeah, John, if you're around, I'll send you a link. Big up Mr. Conway always. I'm tired of us being poor. Get the club sold. Let Klopp spend like Pep. Main targets attained rather than losing out. The fee for Jude will be between 100 and 150 million, so 120, 130 in my opinion. Liverpool, we need to improve. Otherwise, we'll fall out of top 4 and struggle to get back into it. Brazil for Alisson Fab. Yes, I mean, I think for no worries. Netherlands. Oh, and Ibu, yeah. Big up Ash. How you doing, Ash? Nice to see you back, my friend. Nice to see you back. Yeah, and Ibu. So that's 6 away. That's 6 away. Not too bad. Not the worst. Not the worst by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, so Liverpool got 6 players away. Obviously, we've got the Dubai Cup coming up. We've got a lot of there's a lot of players. We've got everyone back from injury now, ain't we? So literally everyone is back from injury, which is obviously really exciting and really good. It's going to be good. We're going to get John on as well. I'm going to send a link to John right now and get him on as well, and I get his opinion on it all. John, I'll send the link into the Liverpool chat and into my chat, into my WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group. Let's go and grab the link there, my friend. Go and grab the link. Big up, Liverpool. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Andrew in the house as well. I'm excited for Jude if it happens. Also, I want to see N Dubs the other day in Liverpool. I went to see N Dubs the other day in Liverpool. Big up, Andrew, seeing N Dubs, you know. Brazil all the way for me, says Captain Sal. Big up, Masood. How you doing, my friend? Love the show. Big up to you. 7 players. Add Jude, Jamie. Let's not get carried away, Ali, but you never know. If Madrid won't pay 100 million for Jude, then who will bump up the price to 120 in the bidding? That is very true. Big up, Leverson. How are you, my friend? Good morning to you. 7 players away for Liverpool and Jude. Yeah, I thought there were 7 away. Nunez is back because the Uruguay were crap. Yep. And Storm in the house as well. Good to hear from you, buddy. And you, Storm. Always good to hear from you. Yeah, so Liverpool, look. Let's get to the Jude Bellingham stuff, yeah? Let's just talk about Jude Bellingham. So, with Jude Bellingham coming to Liverpool, I know a lot of... let's get John in there as well. Big up, John.
Big up, man. Hope you're all well.
Yeah, all good, man. All good, all good. Look, so with the Jude stuff, with the Jude Bellingham stuff, here's my take on the Jude Bellingham stuff. I don't think there will be a bidding war for Jude Bellingham.
No.
I think Liverpool are further ahead than this than many people might think. The news coming out today, especially with the German journalists that I trust, like your Christian Falk and stuff like that, and your Pletenberg, they're basically saying that Liverpool have had a lot of contact with Jude Bellingham. Spoke to him a lot. They've already spoke to the family as well, and the family's preference is that he goes to Liverpool as well. Being that he's only 19, you've got to talk to their family as well, family members and that. I don't think there's going to be a bidding war. And also, Madrid, I know Madrid say they won't pay the money for him. I think if Jude Bellingham was a lot cheaper, they might pay the big money for him. But the reason also they don't want to pay the big money for Jude Bellingham is they've got Camavinga, they've got Valverde, and they've got Tchouaméni already in their midfield. They still got a Modric there. He's probably going to have 1 more year. They still got a Cruz there. I just don't see them spending 100 million for Bellingham when it's not really needed on their behalf. So that's why I've always said Real Madrid are not interested. The only other one, so PSG apparently put their hand in the jar today, and obviously they got unlimited wealth, but I just don't see him going to PSG. So look, I think what teams see. So when there's a transfer, the way it works is when there's a transfer, if other teams already know that a certain team is already ahead of everyone and they're speaking, there's been words taken, they spoke to family, there's a setup there. Other teams usually say, right, there's no point because the player's already made his mind up. In my opinion, I think Jude Bellingham wants to play for Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think he wants to play for Liverpool Football Club and he's desperate to leave. You saw that with him and Henderson. I mean, they've got a lovely relationship. They got a really, really nice relationship. Hendo is, I think Hendo and him have always had a decent relationship when it comes to England anyway. And obviously he's good mates with Trent. So it helps straight away. I think he wants to play for Klopp. And with the money, so everyone's now concerned about the money. Liverpool aren't going to pay over 100 million. What everyone's going to have to remember, Ends, if you want a link and you want to come in, mate, you're more than welcome. Just let me know in the chat. What you got to remember with the Jude Bellingham stuff is with the sale buy of Jude Bellingham, this is not a buyout clause.
No.
This is not a buyout clause. Now, Liverpool are very good at structuring transfers.
We think we're the expert in structuring transfer deal.
So with the structure of a transfer, like look, I mean, if we are successful, Darwin Núñez is going to be 100 million euros.
Yep.
If we're successful, so we can structure a transfer without a buyout clause. So I'm not actually too concerned with the fact that we can't afford to buy him. And as you said, John, in the summer, we made how much money did we make back, John? 70 odd mil?
Yeah, 75 million.
Yeah, so there's money there. There's money there. Also, with FSG wanting to sell the football club,
Yeah.
right? And they know they're going to sell the football club. They're going to get the money they want,
I
right?
think that's Nordy's team, Jimmy. I believe it's further along the line where people
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. I mean, we'll get to that bit in a minute, but
Yeah.
with them wanting to sell the football club and going to sell the football club, they're going to get money for the football club. That's why I'm not worried about. I know a lot of people are going, "Oh, right, if they're selling the football club, we're definitely not making any transfers in January." But to be fair, they bought the club for 300 million. They're going to sell the club for 3 billion.
Yes.
They're not going to lose money if they make transfers in the January transfer thing. That's the thing. It's different to the Mike Ashley thing, where he couldn't, he bought the club for so much and really didn't have the money to spend before he sold the club. He wanted all the investment. With Liverpool, it's different. They only spent 300 million and the club go sell it for 3 billion. So if they spend a bit of money, it's not really going to affect them in the pockets at all. So that's why I think the Bellingham thing's definitely going to happen. I've spoke a bit on that now, John. What's your opinion on it, mate?
I agree with everything you said there, mate. Totally agree with everything you said. Especially when Liverpool's spoken to the family, we know you have to speak to the family because he is so young.
Mm.
But with the family saying to him, "We want you to go to Liverpool." We all know he's a very big family guy. He's very close to his family.
Mm.
So his family is going to have a lot of influence on where he goes. And also, I don't see Jude Bellingham the kind of person to go somewhere, Jimmy, just for the cash.
No.
So I don't. And even if Liverpool do miss out in Champions League football this season, I don't see that being a big hindrance either, because he's
No.
only 19.
No, I agree.
So he will look at that and go, "Well, this team can get back in the Champions League next season. They've had a blip."
Exactly.
So I don't see that being a very big hindrance either. And I'll be honest, I actually see this deal getting done in January. I don't know whether it comes in January or whether it's signed off in January for the summer, but I see it getting done in January.
Mm.
That's just a strong feeling I have. The only worry for me was with Man City throw a hat into the ring, because we know he wants to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
But my only worry was with Man City throw a hat into the ring, and they seem to have pulled away from this deal, which doesn't make sense because they need a replacement for what's the guy's name? Their midfielder. He wants to leave. Silva.
Bernardo Silva, yeah.
He wants to leave in the summer, so he'd be an ideal replacement for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they pulled. I'm glad they pulled back on it, but that was the only thing that worried me, Jamie.
Yeah, the definitely. Look, I agree there. The Man City factor is a big one, obviously, because you got Haaland there for Manchester City. I see with Manchester City, although they have unlimited wealth like a PSG do, apart from buying Jack Grealish for £100 million, they don't really smash big transfer fees on players, do they?
No.
And that's my thing with City. I'm not sure. I think City would love a Bellingham. I don't know if he can replace Bernardo Silva though, but different kind of players, ain't they? Different kind of players. And I think what Pep Guardiola would be looking at to replace a Bernardo Silva is someone a bit more like Bernardo Silva himself. So maybe someone like a João Felix or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's what Pep would look at, not more. I mean, Bellingham is more of your box-to-box sort of midfielder, and he doesn't really play with that kind of midfielder, does he? He has a defensive midfielder in his team, and then he has basically number 10s as his midfielders, don't he? And the thing is, he's got De Bruyne there at the moment, who is your box-to-box all-action midfielder. So I just don't see how Bellingham gets into a Man City team right now. For me, I just don't see that's the sort of player Pep wants at this moment in time. I don't think. Look, obviously, there's a lot of things about. I think personally, I think City want. Do you know who City I think want? I think City would prefer an Enzo Fernandez. That's the type of midfielder Pep would want over a Jude Bellingham, in my opinion. Let's bring Enz in as well. Big up Enzo, do man.
Big up, man. At work on my lunch break, so I thought let me lock into you guys.
No worries, man. No worries. No worries. What's your feeling on Jude Bellingham stuff?
It's the worst kept secret in football, right? Listen, all I'm seeing is this guy flirting around with all of the Liverpool players continuously. Yeah. I think they're doing their job. I think the point of Henderson looking after him and him and Trent, I think it's more just telling him what it's like being at Liverpool, what to expect when you're there, what's the manager like, what's the housing situation like, living in Liverpool and stuff like that. Listen, it's just down to whether the club wants to spend the money and buy him. I think personal terms won't be a problem, and I actually think the player wants to come. It's just whether or not are we going to spend the money that Dortmund wants for him. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, like, so Dortmund are saying it's anywhere between 100 million and 150 million will get up Jude Bellingham. Now, as I said before, Liverpool are very good at structuring deals for transfers, and because this is not a buyout clause, I think that's what everyone keeps like. Everyone's saying, "Oh, we won't spend that kind of money, won't spend that kind of money," which I can understand that. But like I said, if we are successful, then Darwin Núñez is going to be 100 million euros in these transfers. So
yeah,
we can structure deals in a way. If this is a buyout clause of 120 million, I'd say probably not. It's never going to happen because it's not a buyout clause. Liverpool can do some kind of deal. And look, Liverpool going to get a lot of wages off the track. Don't forget, Liverpool going to save a lot of money by getting a lot of wages off this team when Milner, Ox, and Keita probably leave all for free in the summer. That's a lot of wages off the bill. So there's money freed up. It's the sort of the way they did the Salah, the sort of the way they did the Salah contract. They got rid of a lot of players that are on big wages, freed up them wages, and basically gave them to Mo. That's basically the way they did it. So I can see that being the thing with Bellingham, and I don't think Bellingham will come in asking for ridiculous money wages wise either.
No, I don't think.
I don't think he's that kind of player, and I think you've actually seen it when he's spoken in interviews before. He's not that in way inclined. He knows he's going to get well paid and have a great living, so he's not asking for the world. So I reckon if we get him in, you can put him on like. I reckon he'd go on like 150 grand a week. Because what you've got to remember also, he's only 19.
Yeah.
He's only on 85. He's only on 85 grand a week at the minute at Dortmund.
Yeah, Dortmund. So you don't have to go and give him like 200 grand a week just to make sure you get him with incentives. You don't. I think Jude wants to play for Liverpool. I think he wants to come to Liverpool. I think that's his next club in his development. I think that's what he wants. He's only 19 years of age, as we said. If he wants to play for the Madrids later in life, look, I don't like Liverpool being a stepping stone, nowhere near. But I always understand professional footballers wanting to play for Real Madrid. It's just, it's the ultimate goal for a lot of football fans and a lot of football players. It's the ultimate goal. So I don't blame him. But he could have 8 great years at Liverpool and still be at a decent age to go in Real Madrid if he ever fancied it, or he could just stay for Liverpool for the rest of his career. So I think that's why he wants to come. It's obviously great mates with Jordan Henderson, with Trent. You got Jurgen at the club as well, and you got that German sort of influence at the football club. If he obviously been playing in Germany for a while. I think it just everything makes sense. But my problem is, if Liverpool actually don't get this deal done, it's going to look ridiculous.
Facts.
No, so you see why I don't think so, Jamie, right? Because it's not Liverpool that's saying that they want the player. It's more the community, the Liverpool community speaking about it. So I don't think they would look at it in a bad light if they don't get the player, because it's only us making the noise. They're not saying anything. Jude isn't saying anything. The players are not saying anything. It's just we have to wait and see how it plays out. Obviously, as fans, we would obviously want it to happen. I'm included in that. I want it to happen. I see it happening. But if it doesn't happen, Liverpool will be like, well, we weren't interested in him. It's not like we've come out and publicly said, like, we're going to make a bid for him. And it's just more us speaking about it, pundits speaking about it. As soon as he celebrates with Henderson, all of a sudden, that means he's going Liverpool.
Yeah.
He's just celebrating an assist he made in the game to a player that he looks up to. Him and Trent going there, you know what I mean? Trent is we're acting like Trent is an old man. Trent is still very young, so that's why he
Yeah.
chills out with all the younger boys as well. So maybe they have the same interests. You know, it could be just a walk in the park. You know what I mean? Talking about football.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but because it's a Liverpool player and it's because he's a player linked to us, so I don't think he'll look bad on us as a club if we don't get him.
Not as
Obviously,
a club, as what it will be. You know what it's gotta be. It's gotta be the fan base, ain't it? It's gotta be the rival fans. They're never gonna shut up about it.
Yeah,
you thought you had him in the bag and all that, and so as a fan, it's gotta be horrible as a fan.
Yes.
As you say, Jens, as a football club have not said anything. We know the only one we know is that Jurgen Klopp loves him. It's Jurgen Klopp is pushing hard for him. Apparently, this is all coming from Klopp. Now, Klopp has a lot of power at the football club. So Klopp has, in his new contract, we've been told now, we know it's been said that he has a lot more power and influence on transfers now. Where before, he sat back a little bit. Like the committee had all the power. They would go to Jurgen. These are the players we're looking at. Who do you fancy the most? Jurgen would say, I really like him and him and him. Like the Julian Brandt, like the Timo Werners. And then he really wanted them. But the committee were like, you know what? Brandt's a good player, but we think Mo Salah can do a better job.
Yeah.
And the same with Jota. So, you know, the transfer committee have got it right at times. They've got it wrong at times. Klopp got it right at times. Klopp's got it wrong at times. So they've all, they're all 50-50 on this sort of thing. But now he's got a bit more power in the transfer things. That is one of the reasons, apparently, this is just rumours, I don't know if it's true, that's the reason Mark Edwards left. And apparently that's the reason Julian Ward's leaving, because if you read what Julian Ward said, is that basically it's not the job he thought it was 12 months ago. And some people in the club have got too much power now. That's basically what he's saying, like the power shift has changed. The power shift has changed. Now, obviously, he's not mentioning names or anything like that, so we can only speculate. But that's what a lot of Liverpool fans have been now saying is, so has Klopp got too much power now, and he's not letting Julian Ward do his job. But
do you know what? For me personally, I never thought, why do we need other people to make signings? You're the coach of the football club. Yeah. You're with the boys week in, week out. You can see what your team needs from what it doesn't need. So why do I need someone else to tell? Like, I don't mind someone else kind of brokering the deal and getting that sorted and stuff. But to identify a player, I shouldn't need anyone else to kind of do that for me. You know, I've got my own eyes and I can see what my team needs. If we're losing goals and the defense is just leaking goals week in, week out, I need a defender. If the midfield, we're not, the transition play between the defense, midfield and striker isn't working, then I need to get some midfielders. We're not creating any goals, get some creators. We're not scoring goals, get some goal scorers.
Yeah.
I don't see why. I get why it is, because obviously you've been hired to do a job, and then all of a sudden, the next man that doesn't get paid to do your job has got more power than you in that job. So I get it, but we just need to get the players that we need in at the club. And I think Klopp probably realised that these guys were taking too long to get certain deals done, and we lost out in the Chouameni deal. I think now he's just like, I might as well just do it myself because you guys are incapable of getting stuff done. So let me do it myself then. I think that's the stance he's probably taken.
Yeah, I mean, the Chouameni one's a weird one, isn't it? I still don't. I think Liverpool are obviously very, very interested in Chouameni, but it all came out before the Champions League final, didn't it? The news sort of broke before the Champions League final. Then Chouameni basically said, I'm going to be watching Champions League final and I'll make my decision after that. And I believe there was a thing from Jurgen saying, we don't want a player who decides if we win or lose a cup final to join us or not. So I think Klopp was a bit turned off by that, because he's like, you join Liverpool because you want to play for Liverpool, not because of what we won last week, sort of thing. That's how Klopp feels about that. He doesn't like that in the changing room, does he?
The other part of that as well, we see that we weren't scared to spend that money on him. It's not like he went because we lost out on the kind of price tag. It was because he chose not to come to us.
Yeah.
So
he wanted to play for Real Madrid. Chouameni has said himself recently, while he's been at the World Cup, yes, I wanted to go to Liverpool, but as soon as Real Madrid showed interest, that was it. So
we know that we're not scared to spend that money because we offered the money for him. It's not like we didn't offer it. We offered
No,
it, but
he chose another club.
So
Exactly.
people thinking
So
that
the
we
money.
weren't
So
Bellingham.
why people saying we don't have money to spend on Jude Bellingham? We've clearly got the money sitting in the bank.
Exactly. This is my problem. I think Liverpool do have the money. I think Liverpool's problem has always been is that yes, FSG do have a model of buying players, right? And I think FSG are aware of that don't work no more, and that's why they want to sell the football club, which I'm all fine with. I actually like that the owners are like, you know what, our way now don't work no more. We can't compete with everyone.
They've held up,
Make the club
they've held their hands
successful.
up, Jamie.
So they're doing the right thing by
They've
selling.
held
They're
themselves.
doing the right thing.
Yeah, we're doing the right. We want to do the right thing for Liverpool Football Club. We can't
Yeah.
take this any further forward. So
Yeah.
let's bring the next guy in who can.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're doing the right thing for the club, not themselves.
So I think there's money there to be spent, but I think there's only like enough money there to be spent on maybe, one or two of the right players, and then that's it. People might go, all right, why didn't we spend this money before? And it's not that we couldn't. It's just that I think the club are because we haven't got the money of a City. Like City are a tremendous football club, but if they get a player, if a player doesn't quite work, they can afford to correct that wrong the following season. No problem, right? That's what Klopp's mentioned. That like City get a player wrong.
Yeah.
Like Ferran Torres, I know he didn't cost a lot of money, right? It was like 25-30 million or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
He didn't work at City, so they just let him go. They let him go and work Jack Grealish, right? To replace him. Liverpool, even a 25-30 million pound player, Liverpool have to make sure that 25-30 million pound player actually works for the football club because they can't go and replace him next season. That's why we keep so many players to try and get the best out of them, get them to work.
We have to spend our money, or we have to spend our money more wisely.
Yeah, exactly. So they have got the money there, but Liverpool are like, if we spend 100 million on a player, we have got to make sure he bloody works. Otherwise, we are stuck with £100 million debt that we can then not get rid of and make our money back on. That's why when they bought Van Dijk for 75 million, although it was all Coutinho money, they still spent the money. So they bought Van Dijk for 75 million, knowing in the back of their minds, saying this will work because we believe he can be the best defender in the world.
The other side of it as well, Jamie, is that we as a club, Klopp only likes certain types of players that will suit the group.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we're looking at players, us as fans will be like, oh no, he will be definitely great for the position, but they get the ins and outs about the player, and then they'll be like, well, the attitude he might have, or the way he behaves, or his lifestyle won't suit the group, which would then make the whole structure of our group. So even though we know he's a perfect player for that position, we'll rather then look elsewhere again for someone else that can still do it, but also matches the mold of what we want to build as a club. So I think Bellingham is a perfect example. Perfect. You can see by the way he carries himself. Perfect professional. You don't hear nothing about him. Carries himself in a certain way. He looks like he really wants to become one of the best midfielders in the world. He suits the kind of ethos around the club, the way he speaks about the players. It's a perfect player for us. So
I agree.
And we have to look at things like that. In terms of the transfer, I think we should go and try and get someone in January as well, though. Whether we will, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to get to that January transfer in a minute because I do think we will buy a midfielder in January. You've seen him play in the World Cup, and he's probably been the best. And he's probably been the best DM in the World Cup as well. I will chat about that in 1 second.
No problem.
So Liverpool can spend the money. Do you know what made Liverpool change their transfer dealings? Do you know why FSG changed the way they do transfer business?
Navigator was shit.
No, it was the signing of Andy Carroll. It was the signing of Andy. Don't forget, we just spunked 35 million on Andy Carroll. That don't sound like a lot of money now, 35 million. But
back then it was a lot of dough.
Go back 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 35 million for Andy Carroll in the Premier League was a lot of money 11 years ago. And Liverpool just spunked. And don't forget, we've got Suarez as well. I know Torres went for 50 mil, but we spent, was it 25 million on Suarez? But the Suarez deal was sort of like, I think we were trying to buy Suarez while we still had Torres. And then it all sort of like Torres went 24 hours before. Like, I think they went in and out on the same sort of day, if I remember
Yeah.
rightly. And then out of the blue, we just went, you know what, we want Andy Carroll as well. So we spent like, what is it, almost 60 million on 2 strikers in one winter transfer. So they can spend money. They have been proven to spend money. But and obviously we were run under Damien Comolli then. He was in charge. And after the Andy Carroll thing, they went, you're useless, goodbye. Got Marco Edwards in, and the rest is history. But they come out with a way of doing transfers. It's worked for Liverpool. There's no doubt about it. It's just where we are now, we need to go a step up to keep going. And FSG know they can't do that right now. But they have got the right money. Now, what I'm saying with the £100 million transfers here and there everywhere that people keep desperately wanting is that, as I said, if Liverpool get £100 million transfer wrong and they can't make money back on him, FSG are not going to buy that kind of player. That's how they look at transfers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They might not like it, but that's how they look at players. So if they see a player that's worth 100 million, but in the back of them, but they've done all their work on him, they know in 5 years' time we can make £50 million profit on him easy. They will buy him. They will buy him, right? If they get the player and they know, right, in a few years' time, you know, we're not, if we need to sell and it's an acquisition we can make money off, and we can't make no money off him, they're not going to buy him. That is the way they work. You know, people might not like it, but it's just the way they work, and it's worked for them so far. But with Jude Bellingham, look, I think Jude Bellingham is a player they're looking at as not as an acquisition they can sell in a few years' time. I think they're looking at him as a player that can just change Liverpool Football Club. I think that's what they're looking at. Like with a Van Dijk, they didn't buy Van Dijk as an acquisition they could make money off in a few years' time. They bought him as a player, as the missing piece of the jigsaw that win things. The same with Alisson. So that's the way they look at transfers. They're very tight with their money for a reason, you know. And with Bellingham, I feel like if they're going to spend 100 million on any player, I think it is going to be Jude Bellingham. And I know there's a lot of people that have had enough of the Jude Bellingham and stuff, and I don't blame them. And there's a lot of people actually starting to question. I've seen this, and I've questioned it myself. Like, is Jude Bellingham all that?
Who's questioned it?
A lot of people. I've gone on a lot of shows. I've done a lot of shows the last few weeks, and a lot of people are saying, is Jude Bellingham? Look, you look at some of the players. Is he better than Musiala? Same age. Is he better than Gavi? Is he better than Pedri? Is he of that ilk of that young midfielder, or is he just another industrious box-to-box English midfielder with a little bit of quality?
Look, Jamie. All right, go on, John.
No, go ahead, mate.
You see, with that, Jamie, right? I've noticed with our fan base, and it's getting worse. I think as soon as our fan base, and I don't want to say majority, but from what I can see, you know, going around on YouTube, a lot of them, as soon as they hear something and it sounds good in their head, they just literally run with it without actually getting any evidence to back it up. They're like, okay, if he said it, it must be true. If he said it or she said it, it must be true. You can't tell me looking at him with doing your eye test. You don't even need to look at stats. Just look at him through the eye test. And you're telling me this is not a player that is well above his years. I don't even think the guy has a ceiling. He's like an untapped well. You don't know how good he can be.
Yeah.
And the good thing about him, you have those kind of players where you think, okay, they do look good, but they don't actually have that footballing acumen. They don't really look like they want to become the best, or they don't speak well, or they're really shy. But you can see the kid's presence. Like, I don't look at him as a 19-year-old. I look at him as a well-seasoned professional player. I do not look. When I look at him and when he speaks, I'm not. Oh, do you know what? He's a young kid. I sometimes forget he's 19.
Yeah.
So I just think people just need to stop.
Guys.
Stop listening to what they're hearing and kind of use their own brain and really look at what kind of player he can be and what player he will be. And with the right environment, ceilings on cap, man.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Look, Bellingham, I got to say, I'm just not one of them. But I look at Bellingham and think, look, is he? For me, he's the best young player in the World Cup.
Mm.
He's the best young player at the World Cup at 19 years of age. I think I've been saying this right. He's not. I'm going to mention Harvey Elliott here, and I'm not putting Harvey Elliott in with the same bracket as a Musiala or a Bellingham or anything like that. But I don't understand the shit Harvey gets from some of our fan base. I don't get why people come for him for a lot. I think we all forget he's 19. You know, do you realise how good Harvey Elliott actually is for a 19-year-old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like he's 27. Right, if he's playing like this when he's 27, then we've got some issues. But he's 19 years of age, right? And I think he's playing really well for a 19-year-old in a Liverpool team that's not really kicking on this year. So if you put all that together, Harvey Elliott's actually doing all right. Now you look at the higher end of the spectrum, like your Musialas, your and your Bellinghams and stuff like that, around the same age, but they got a little bit more talent. They're really, really developed for their age, especially Bellingham. And you're like, he's a tremendous midfielder. Now, my only issue with the Bellingham transfer is, will Jurgen Klopp? And this is what a lot of people I've seen some people in the chat already mention this.
Yeah.
Will Jurgen Klopp use Bellingham properly, or because we've seen what happened to Genie? You know, you see Genie at every other club he's ever played for in the Netherlands look completely different. Big up, Baz. Look completely different. Will Klopp use him correctly? I know that's what a lot of people in the chat are worried about.
Can I jump in on this one?
Yeah, go for it, go
on. You know, it's crazy. I would have thought maybe a couple of years ago, yeah. I think Klopp is now changing. I don't think he's fully changed, but he's trying to change. We saw that he's changed up the tactics. He's tried different formations, things that we never thought Jurgen Klopp would ever do. But we can see that him changing. The problem with Jude is, I think if you play him anywhere, he could do your job. And Klopp might look at that and go, "Oh, that's my James Milner." he will put him at right back, left back if he needs him. I think Klopp will play him in his rightful position. I think he's going to be the Henderson replacement. If we're planning to go back to the 4-3-3, I think he'll be the 8 for the team. He'll be the box-to-box midfielder, will create goals, try and get some goals as well, and just be able to just stop counter-attacks and kind of link the defense to the midfield to the attack. So I'm going to back Klopp on this one. I think he will play him in his rightful position.
Yeah, I agree with you. Baz, how are you, my man?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys? And thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome, man. You're welcome always. Before we just go to that, big up KMTV, big up to you. How you doing, my friend? Bellingham number 10. The only way to get him is to offer Salah's salary, but he's only 19. Crazy salary. I'm not surprised. Right mid is off. Real Madrid's offering £400 to £500, £400 to £500K per week. Jesus Christ. Big up KMTV. Big up to you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Baz, your thoughts on the Bellingham stuff?
Look, he's an epic player. He's an epic player, and I think with all the all the rumors, it's just that rumors. I know we are interested in him. I know obviously there people know that there's family ties with Liverpool, etc. He's an epic player. I'd love to have him at Liverpool, but sometimes we're looking at this a little bit too, pretty much like the Mbappe thing. Now, I'm not saying that Liverpool cannot get him. There might be a case where, this could be the one marquee signing, or it could be the things to come if there is investment in the club and etc. But the most important thing is this guy needs to play football. He just needs to play football, needs to focus on it. People need to stop getting too excited when they see people with like Trent with him, or even Jordan Henderson, because I mean it does excite people. I get that, but will fans know this is part of football? Because, you know, Jordan Henderson is obviously one of the senior players there. He's one of the younger players there. So, you know, when you see them celebrate and putting their arms around, it's that thing that England have tried to build over the last, you know, few years with Gareth Southgate, trying to get players together no matter what. So, you know, I haven't heard too much today or with anything recent about Jordan Henderson and Jude Bellingham. Looks like he's going to fight him there. Don't look like they're going to be fighting.
Because it's Hendo and Trent celebration, ain't it? It's Hendo and Trent thing, and he did it with Jude, didn't he? And now Trent's pissed. He's lost his boyfriend. He's,
you know what? Seeing is believing. Until you see something, you know what I mean? This guy just needs to play. He's 19 years old. He's got a good future. And would he be perfect for Liverpool? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Young English player, you know, but just have to wait and see.
We need to fill up the homegrown rota. You have to forget there's 2 homegrown players leaving us in the summer. So we need to bring in homegrown players.
Yeah, we're going to bring in a homegrown. We have to bring a homegrown player in any transfer we do this January or summer. There's no doubt about that because Carvalho and Elliott are homegrown players, but because they're only 19, you don't have to count them yet. So yeah, Ramsey's not homegrown because he's Scottish. I don't get that, but there you go.
There can be a Declan Rice. There can be a case.
Fucked up way you can't.
Yeah, so you can't. Homegrown players that are Scottish can't be homegrown, but Carvalho, who's Portuguese, can be homegrown because he's lived in England most of his life. It's mad. Yeah, so I think the Bellingham stuff's interesting, as I've said already. We don't want to talk about this too long, but with Bellingham, look, it's a deal I think Liverpool can do. As I said, it's not a buyout clause. It can be a structured deal, which Liverpool are very good at doing. As I said, if we're very successful, Darwin Núñez is going to be €100 million transfer at the end of the day. Yeah. So Liverpool can do these structured deals. Obviously, the Bellingham one's different because they're going to want a lot more money up front. But look, it's something we could do. As I've said, with the sale of the football club, FSG are not going to lose any money if they make this transfer because they're going to sell the club for $3 billion after buying it for 300 mil. So
we also have very good links with Dortmund.
Yeah, there's good relationship there with Dortmund and stuff like that as well. Jurgen Klopp being German helps. You know, there's a lot of stuff there. And look, obviously we need a player this January as well because I don't think this deal will be happening in January. But there is a certain player I do think Liverpool might buy in January because he's going to be cheap. Not a lot of people want me to say this name, but I'm going to say it right now. For me, he's been the best DM in the World Cup. He plays for Morocco. I think Amrabat. I wouldn't be so shocked if Liverpool bought Amrabat in January. I wouldn't be shocked.
I saw something about 50 odd million or something like that recently for him, and he's a good player. He's a really good player. I don't have a problem with him.
No, we've seen him in this World Cup. He gets around. He's good defensively. I thought he was great against Spain. And you think about that if he can play that well against that Spanish team, that pass and move the ball around for 90 minutes, and just move you around the pitch all game, then for me, he can do it in the Premier League against everyone.
Yes, but Jimmy, who was the last player we seen off the back of a World Cup?
Oh, I know. But I hope you don't spit on Celtic fans.
That's the only thing that worries me.
I hope you don't spit on Celtic fans.
That's the only thing that worries me about seeing players off the back of a World Cup.
That is the only thing. Obviously, he's been playing for Fiorentina. Is it Fiorentina he plays for? I think it's Fiorentina, isn't it? So I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've seen him a load or heard of him that much. I've heard of him. I've seen him a little bit, but it's only this World Cup when I've seen him in. The thing with watching players, because a lot of people will say we should buy this player. You know, I think I've seen ridiculous things because Ramos scored a hat trick for Portugal and he plays for Benfica, and everyone's going, "We bought the wrong Benfica striker." Have you watched him his whole career? Do you know we bought the wrong? You know what I mean? It's like don't always go for someone in one game. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but fans are like that. They pretend that they've watched a certain player in another league every single week, and it's like you haven't. Like, stop. You haven't. So you've seen the good parts of him. of a certain player, but have you seen how bad they can be at the same time in other weeks? You know, that's what scouting at football clubs do. They go and watch them every game, and they can see when they have bad games, when they have good games, and if the bad games are just one-offs. But sometimes you might see a player be like Hakim Ziyech, yeah, from Morocco, he's a beast. I saw him the other day against Spain. He worked his arse off. He was up and down the pitch for 90 minutes. He was defending. He was getting the ball. He was using the ball really well. It wasn't just all about flashy skill. He was great with the ball, doing good stuff. Chelsea fans are like, I've never seen this for 2 years for Chelsea. So you've got to be careful buying players like, because everyone saw him for Ajax and were like, oh my God, he is amazing. Go and buy him for Ajax. And Chelsea went and bought him, and it's like, he doesn't look in a fit in the system, or English football don't suit him because it's too quick. He likes a slower tempo to the game, things like that. So you've got to be careful of it. But what I've seen of Amrabat as a DM, we need a DM. We need a DM that can give Fabinho rest. I don't know, like, so the rumours, I know you said 50 odd million, Baz. I saw one today that saying that Florentino would accept a 30 million euros. Okay. So 30 million euros.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a quite a cheap, a very cheap amount of money in this day. You know what I mean? And he's at a good age, so why not?
So you see, with signing players as well, man. It's about signing the players that's going to suit your system and the right environment. So this is why I like the way Liverpool kind of sign our players.
I agree.
Ziyech going to Chelsea, it wasn't because he's not a good player. That's why he's not doing well. Their environment is rubbish. They don't get the best out of their players. They don't try and get the best out of their players. It's just about buying the best players, put them in the team, and say, "Go on, win us the game of football." Doesn't work like that. He's the type of player you might have to put the arm around him. You're seeing a player that wants to fight and go for everything for his country. So you're going to see how good he can be and how good he is. With Amrabat, bro, he's a top player, man. The only thing we moan about Fabinho at the moment is about his legs. It's not that he's lost his ability. It's just that he's not covering the ground that we're used to seeing him do. So getting in a guy that looks like he can cover the ground, boy, and he looks like he's a bully as well. He looks like he's just in your face. He's going to push you about, and he's not going to just let you walk past him in midfield. So sometimes you need some of those players in there, man.
Yeah.
It will be interesting. I think it'll be interesting because obviously with, the strategic, the guy that did all the transfer analyzing and stuff like that with a computer, he's not there no more. He's going to be leaving. So, in terms of our transfers going forward, hopefully it'll be back to good old scouting. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what you need sometimes.
No, I agree. Like, yeah, I believe that's what Klopp wants to do. He wants to get away from the digital scouting, and he wants to go more at watching a player.
Wants to go with the eye test, mate.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people. Liverpool started this digital scouting thing, and everyone started to copy it, right? And now people are actually going, you know what? No, let's actually go and watch players again, because computer data can't tell you more than your eyes do. I'm sorry. You can watch, like, I've seen people say, like, Bernardo Silva, yeah? Bernardo Silva. I rate Bernardo. I think Bernardo Silva is actually the best midfielder in the country, for me. I think he's quality, right? I actually made him over to De Bruyne, right? I just think I see Man City win a league with De Bruyne injured all season, and Bernardo Silva just take over.
Carried them.
I think Bernardo Silva is the reason Kevin De Bruyne is allowed to do what he can at Man City. Because if you watch Kevin De Bruyne for Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne does too much work for Belgium and then tries to finish off everything as well. Where for Man City, Bernardo Silva does that work, letting De Bruyne have more free reign to do whatever he wants. And I think Bernardo Silva is absolute quality. But there's a lot of fans out there who watch Bernardo Silva. They don't really watch him. They just look at their stats. What's their GA in a game? Stuff like that. So because they got no great GA in the game, they're like, well, what did they do in the matching? What did they do?
There's
like,
too much.
Too much.
We're looking too much into the stats of every player that you want to get. I just have to look at a player and go, do you know what? He'll fit the team. He probably hasn't even scored a goal, even had a shot. All I can see is the way he moves, the way he passes the ball, and then I'm looking at the players we already have, and can we unlock the rest of this kid's potential? And that's it. That's all you need. But some players will be like, well, he hasn't scored a goal all season. Maybe it's the guys in his team not passing the ball to him. There's so much things that can go into it. Maybe he's getting into the right areas, but we're not passing the ball. For instance, like Darwin, his movement is so good, but we don't have creative midfielders in the team to find him in the box or find when he makes those movements. So he looks like he's not doing well, but if you actually watch him, he causes havoc. He's the only striker I see at the moment that for some reason, every time he moves, he just seems to have like a yard or two in the box every single time, even when there's a lot of players in the box. Well, yeah, man. We just need to get some good midfielders now and get back to bullying teams again.
Does no one rate Declan Rice in this? I mean, what's your opinions on the
I've already said I'd have Declan Rice in the summer. That would be my midfield. So this is the way I look at it, right? This is my midfield scenario. We got too many midfielders for my taste. We got 9 or 10 midfielders. We've got too many, right? We need to drop them all. Right, we need 7 midfielders. I think that's all you need. You look at all the top clubs; they got 6 or 7 midfielders, and you rotate. What I would keep Thiago, Hendo, and Fabinho. Right, they're my 3 veteran midfielders, and they're my 3 best on paper. Right, then I would get 3 versions of them players, but younger. So I'd get I'd get a player like Henderson, who's younger, do the Hendo role, sort of Bellingham. That's Bellingham, yeah. Then I'd get a younger version of Fabinho, right? And then I'd get a younger version of a Thiago that can sort of play like Thiago, but finding a player that's exactly like Thiago is almost impossible. You know, yes. You find that style of player, you know, and you have them 3 players. They're your younger versions of your 3 better players you already got. Then you got 6 midfielders there. Then you got a Harvey Elliott, that's 7, who's younger, who can be your rotation and come in when needed and learn the game because he's younger. He doesn't have to play every week. And then you got a Carvalho there as well, and players like that. And then you can start looking at the youth team and bringing the youth team players. That's how I would go with this midfield. And when I look at Liverpool's the way Jurgen Klopp is looking at midfielders, I think he's looking at the same thing. Yeah. Like we're looking at a Declan Rice, we're looking at a Caicedo, we're looking at a Jude. You know, they're the sort of players that replicate what he's already got back at 24, 25. And I've always said this, our system works if you have the right players in the right age bracket in that system. We don't need this world-class midfield like Man City have got. Yeah. We've proved it. Yeah, Man City have got this world-class midfield. But for Pep's system, Pep needs that midfield. You look at Barcelona, you look at Bayern Munich, you look at Man City, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's why Pep needs the quality of them players in his midfield to work in his system. The players that he's bought, he has sold on because they don't work in his system, right? And Liverpool are the same. Jurgen Klopp's the same. And you look at our midfield. We won the Premier League and Champions League back-to-back with a young Hendo, a Gini, a Fabinho, a younger Milner. Well, I say younger Milner, he's still 30. But, you know, and Naby Keita, who was like 23, 24, right? That's what won us Premier League and Champions League. I wouldn't call that a world-class midfield. I call it a functional midfield, right? Yep. That has class players in it, right? And I think that's what Jurgen's looking for again, because our midfield, when it was at its best, our back 4 never got touched because the ball never got to them because the midfield controlled games.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, our midfield can't control games because, unfortunately, with human life, everyone gets older every year. It's just the way life is, unfortunately. Endo's 31, Thiago's 30, Fabinho's 47, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You know, so they're getting older. Naby Keita is injury prone. He can't play all the time. Ox is dead. You know, Milner is 37. You know, it's just so them players can't play the Klopp style and system that he wants them to play. And that is why the back 4 is getting annihilated right now. The same I said about Trent. Trent's no different from the Trent I saw when he came in the team for the last few years. He's not got worse. He's not got any better in his defending. He's exactly the same. The problem is he's overexposed now, where before he was never overexposed. So you get the 3 younger versions of what we've already got, and the system works again. And I think Klopp knows that, and that's why he wants the certain right. That's why Klopp's always said we need midfielders. I know we do, but it has to be the right ones. And I think a Declan Rice works. I think a Declan Rice comes into this Liverpool midfield with ease and gets straight down to it because he's box to box. He's also very defensive minded, but he can push forward if needed. Remember, the way we play, all our midfielders need to be a sort of a 6 and an 8 at the same time, don't they? That's what Klopp wants. That's why all the energy is in our midfield for the system to work. And I think Declan Rice does that. My only problem with Declan Rice is that West Ham are going to want stupid money, even with a year left on his deal. That's the problem there.
But they want Jamie, but at the end of the day, they can either take what we give them, or they can wait and lose him for nothing. So,
yeah, I mean that's the thing. West Ham might get bullied into a deal anyway.
They probably would. They probably would, because the thing is, I mean, if we wait till, say for example, we were interested in him and we wait for a little while until his contract finishes, people like Chelsea will snap him up. If we can do a deal for him like now, you know, it would probably be a cut price anyway, because obviously with how long he's left. And if you compare it to someone like a Jude Bellingham, all right, you know, he would be perfect. I've watched this guy play live on a few occasions. You know, he's a good leader. He's a good leader as well. He talks a lot on the pitch. You know, he covers grass. You know what I mean? He's a good player. I think to be fair, we needed someone like a Gini Wijnaldum. I mean, we never replaced him, in my opinion, because he was epic with his ball retention. He didn't play as forward as he did, you know, when he plays for Holland and stuff like that. But you know what? He reminds me of what John Barnes used to be when John Barnes moved into the middle, the orchestrator, keeping the ball under pressure, play it nicely. You know what I mean? We haven't had a player like that for a while. That was supposed to be Naby Keita. Didn't happen.
Now, to be fair, Thiago was meant to be that one as well, but he became unreliable because he kept getting injured. Yeah. But he was meant to be the maestro, the one that dictated the play and held the ball in tight situations, and it's got the team ticking. But because he keeps getting injured, you could see would play well for 2 games, and you're like, oh, that's great. And then he'll be injured, and we wonder why we're not holding the ball in midfield, because he's injured. He's the only one that we got can do it. So yeah.
The thing with Thiago, sorry, Enz, man. The thing with Thiago, right, I look at him as a luxury player. All right, he's a luxury player, and the problem that I've seen with Thiago, okay, and it's not really his fault, yeah, is we've been playing so bad somewhere along the line where he's doing more back work than more forward work, and that concerns me a lot, because he's going to get these knocks because he's the kind of player. And yeah, all right, in a way, we did replace Gini with this guy, but you know, with Thiago. Listen, I love this guy. He's an epic player, but, you know, we need reliability.
Do you know the issue as well, though, Baz? Yeah, a lot of people don't know that he's actually a 6, because they look at his stature and they look at his build and go, oh, no, he must be an 8 or he must be a 10. No, he's a 6. For Bayern Munich, he was in the 6 before Kimmich made that move into there. So Kimmich used to be the right back. Before they moved, the reason why they moved Kimmich is because of Thiago. So he's the 6 because he's very tenacious, and when he wins the ball, he plays. He allows you to move. He moves the ball so quickly forward. The rest of the midfield then just join the attack. But
absolutely,
we're playing him in sort of the 10 role, not like a 10, but 2 8s basically. That's not his best position. It is the 6, and when we put him in there for one game, you guys will see what I mean.
Yeah, no, I hear that, but you know, even in him admitting it himself, he's never had to run so much.
Yeah, because he's normally on the ball dictating from the middle of the park. That's why.
That's right. That's what my problem is. But
also, Naby at Bayern Munich played in a double. Thiago at Bayern Munich played. Naby wished he played for Bayern Munich. No, Thiago at Bayern Munich played in the double pivot his whole career.
Yeah.
You know, when he came to Liverpool, he played 4-3-3, and it's like, Jesus, I have to run. Yeah, and that's what I think. I think that's what he meant by his comments. What Jurgen Klopp taught him how to run. To us, it sounds stupid, but I think what he really meant by it is that at Bayern Munich, they dictate the game all the time because they're Bayern Munich. They're the biggest team in Germany, so it's easy for them. But at Liverpool, you're playing 4-3-3, where you know the left side centre midfielder has to go and cover the left back, the right centre midfielder has to go and cover the right back, and then the DM's doing that solo job, and then you have to come back together. Go back together, go forward together. I think that's what Thiago meant for it. I think that's what Thiago meant by like learning to run, because he's never had to do that before. He played for Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Man's never had to run anywhere. You know what I mean? It's just that's what I think he meant by it. But this is what I mean by I don't mind Thiago only playing 20, 25 games a season in the Premier League if it means we've got an adequate replacement for him that can come in and we don't miss him so much. I ain't got a problem with that. That's why I'm like, we've got a thing to do next summer. Next summer, he's only got a year left on his deal. What do? Do you let him go for free, or do you keep Thiago?
No, we'll definitely.
I'd give him a new deal.
Yeah,
I give him 2 more years.
I'd give him a new deal. Plus, I don't think Thiago wants to leave. So I'd give him a new deal, but get players in that if he ain't going to play, because we play Thiago too much. Have you all seen the R9 documentary?
Yeah.
Have you seen the reason R9? Right, he had bad knees all the time. Yeah, his knee, the fibre, and all that, the ligaments in his knee were always bad. But he always tried to tell coaches that I train too much. Don't train me all the time. You know, you're overtraining me. You're overtraining me, and I'm overtraining. Just don't overtrain me. And all the players, I mean, Christian Vieri was going, don't train him. Just let him be him, and let him just play the match, and he'll win us the game. You know, just leave him be. But the coaches and managers thought they knew better. R9 in this generation right now, if he was around now, would be unstoppable, because coaches and science now is so good that he wouldn't train as much. And I think with Thiago, we got to do the same. Like, maybe don't let him train so much. Let him have maybe an extra day off to the lads, because you know how special he is. You know, and rest him for the big occasions. He's your superstar player that comes in for the big occasions. You know. But because we haven't got anyone else that can do the Thiago role, we've let other midfielders leave without replacing them. Klopp has to play him every week when he's fit.
Yeah.
That's why he plays every week. But if you get a player in that can do the Thiago role that he won't be so missed with, and is also Klopp's happy with the way he will react in the midfield. Because remember, Klopp wants a midfielder that can defend. That's why Klopp don't really put Ox in midfield anymore when he comes on.
Yeah,
because
those players.
Back.
Yeah, those players are few and far between. I mean, I know it's difficult to find those, but when you find someone like that, we got to act quick on it, because it is literally just, you know, finding that player, signing him. Because if you don't, you know, you're going to have all people with money that are going to offer stuff. You know what I mean? I know things can change potentially. However, you know, we need to act on it as well. We can't keep waiting, because, you know, it's hindering us.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let's get on with. So obviously, while the World Cup's been going on, you know, FSG up for sale, apparently. I don't know if it's bought out for sale or not. I don't know if FSG want to sell Liverpool Football Club. 1 minute I'm like very convinced that FSG want to sell Liverpool Football Club. The next minute I'm like, part of me still thinks they want to have shares in the football club and have a little bit of hands on still, and just get investors in. But the problem with investors is that, look, Chelsea have done this. So Thomas Bowley, so Chelsea's whole complete sale of Chelsea Football Club was 4.9 billion apparently. But Bowley only bought the club for 2.9 billion because he had investors. So, and because of the debt that got paid off, so it counts as 2.9 billion. But he's got investors, ain't he? Because I know everyone's like, oh, Bowley's spending money, so Americans will spend money if they own football clubs. It's not actually him buying anyone; it's his investors that have come in. He's got investors that have come in and put money on the table for Bowley to buy players for Chelsea to be successful. And we've seen how that's gone so far. They're worse. So it's just they've just gone out and bought players for like name value. I mean, they let Lukaku go and bought a 35 Aubameyang. That is the worst bit of transfer business I've seen in my lifetime. That is just makes no sense. They bought when Pep Guardiola is happy for a Man City player to leave, I wouldn't touch him. Yeah. Because if Pep Guardiola is happy for someone to leave that Man City team and he's happy to go to a rival, for me, that tells me that player's not at a level they used to be. So don't go and buy him. That's why I'm glad Liverpool never went in for a Sterling, because if Pep Guardiola thinks, let him go to Chelsea, he's not what he was. So, and Chelsea buying him, I think, was a mistake. You know, so like when So I'm not sure if it's just that we're going to get investment, FSG stay. Because let's put this thing right. Let's just talk about this for a second, right? Let's take everyone take out their hatred for FSG for just 1 second, yeah? I know there's a lot of hatred in the chat and then maybe on the panel and around Liverpool and all that, and certain people on Twitter that just tweet about FSG every single day of the week. I don't, that geezer on Twitter does my head in, but it's anti FSG every day of the week. I swear he really, when you really hate a girl, you really love a girl, but you pretend to hate them. You know what I mean? It's like that. And take away hatred of FSG out for a second, right? If you look at them as owners behind the scenes, right? Owners behind the scenes, it's hard to moan at them too much. Yes, they've done things wrong. The worst thing for me they've done is trying to copyright the name Liverpool, because if they sold Liverpool Football Club, they'd own the name rights to Liverpool, which is pathetic, yeah? Right? I'm glad that didn't happen. The ticket pay rise stuff, right? Every owner tries to raise tickets to their football club. Like everyone tries. If they think they can make more money by raising something like tickets and all that, knowing fans will still buy it, they're going to try it. They're going to chance their arm, yeah? So I don't really have a go at them for that. Furloughing. I don't really have them going about furloughing either, because I saw bigger businesses furloughing people. Richard Branson furloughed people. But bigger businesses than FSG were furloughing people. So for me, furloughing is the government's fault, because they shouldn't have put it in place. They should have looked after people. It shouldn't be right. Like, we look after the businesses, not the people. That's wrong for me. That shouldn't happen. Furloughing is not. I don't blame the club for that, because as I said, I've seen bigger businesses furlough people and actually not ever bring people back either. So they went back on that and brought them back. Yeah, fair enough. Right. Of course, there's been other things they've done wrong. Right. No problem. But behind the scenes, we're a decently run club. When a new owner comes into this football club, what have they? Look at Liverpool under the FSG and look at the Glazers under United, right? You look at Old Trafford, it's falling apart, yeah? Absolutely falling apart. They've done not 1 ounce of work on Old Trafford since they've been there. I watch the Stretford Paddock, yeah? I watch a lot of rival fans' YouTube shows, because I like watching them for a laugh sometimes, but also it can be quite interesting listening to rivals sometimes. So I watch a lot of Stretford Paddock and that, yeah, and Stretford Paddock and that, and they talk about, and they're quite in depth on it, and they talk about the training ground. The training ground needs updating. We heard what Ronaldo said about it all in the interview with his lover boy. It's all falling apart and terrible. And he actually like he was saying, they don't do like the buying players. They don't do what, like you mentioned, Liverpool do and teams like that do. They're more advanced in their technology and stuff like that. So if new owners came into Liverpool Football Club, they go and look around and go, right, there's no debt. You've got a new training complex. You've got, right, Anfield's going to be 62,000 next season. So that's done. You've started building around the surrounding area. There's some areas of Liverpool around the stadium I don't think they got planning permission for, because Hicks and Gillette fucked it when they first came in and bought all them homes up, and then found out they couldn't actually build on that area, if I'm correct. But
something like that, yeah.
And so behind the scenes, this club is run really well. I think everyone's problem is on the pitch is a different matter, and that's fair enough. On the pitch is a different matter, but they got the right hire in the Klopp in. They got a good transfer committee in the Michael Edwards, Julian Wards. There's no debt on the club. They've got a brand new training complex. They've built up Anfield. There's no real debt. I mean, debt is, everyone has debt. There's living debt, and then there's debt that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? There's different kinds of debt, but there's no real debt to talk of. Apart from putting players up on the transfer, like the transfer part of it on the playing field. Apart from that, so if FSG spent 100 to 200 million every single summer on transfers, or got Klopp whatever he wanted, the player he asked for, and they got him in, no worries, yeah, we'll get it out for you, Jurgen, and all that, with what they're doing behind the scenes, would anyone actually have a problem with the ownership?
So let me answer, because I'm the unbiased one in the panel, I think. I have not had any problems with them. I don't think nothing they've done has been to the detriment of Liverpool. Everything they've tried to do was to try and better the club, in building them up financially. If you ask any of the fans now, all they want is the new owners, just because they want the new owners to do is come in and spend money. If that's the only thing you're going to say these owners have done wrong, because that's what we're moaning about. We just want them to spend money. We're not talking about anything else. They've sorted out our training facility, as Jamie said. They're building up the new the stadium. They're building the surrounding areas. They put certain things in place. We've got great recruitment, great scouting, some great squad. But apart from the midfield that we need to get sorted out, what have they done wrong? You said about the furlough thing. Everyone else furloughed their people as well. It's not just Liverpool, but what we do, we listen to the media too much and then we just run with whatever they're trying to push. When they try to trademark Liverpool's name, yeah, you can say, "Oh, have a go at them for doing that," but they're a business. They're business owners. All they're trying to do is look at any way to make a profit as business owners. You know, if Jamie wants to make more money, he's going to push more of his things. He's going to try and copyright stuff if he wants to, right? We would do the same thing. So how do we blame them for making themselves richer? We can't blame them. They've looked at an idea and they thought, "Oh, if we can do this, we're going to make more money. If we do that, we're going to make more money." So I don't think they've been bad owners. The only thing that we would say as a fan base is they didn't spend enough. But at the same time, we can blame the manager because the manager didn't want to buy certain players when he had the chance. So we can't just blame the owners, man. So go on, John. I know you look like you want to say something. So go ahead, mate.
Why is it always me?
Because you know,
you're the one that chats a lot about bring me the money.
Yeah,
bring me the money. I don't like these owners. They're not good enough. Do I thank them? Yes, of course I do. They've took us from 300 million, the 300 million up to nearly 4 billion. So are the great businessmen? Of course you are. You can't take it away from them. But they've took Liverpool as far as they can. They can't take us any further. Liverpool have outgrown FSG.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Liverpool have outgrown FSG, and people say to me that they spent this, they spent that, they spent that. They spent this on the stadium, they spent that on the training ground. Bullshit, I didn't spend fuck all.
Let me put it to you this way. I think
Liverpool built the stadium. Liverpool built that stadium. They loaned us the money, we paid them back.
Zabiri said, what about let's not say...
What about the training ground? The training ground actually paid for a training ground, did they not?
John, you need to listen, bro.
Listen. Paid for training ground.
John, listen. It's not that Liverpool's outgrown FSG. Zabiri put it right. He put it the best way. Maybe FSG has outgrown Liverpool. Maybe we don't want to look at the brighter times and how to increase our wealth. Maybe that's what it is. And they're like, right, if you guys don't want to make more money, then that's cool. We'll part ways here.
How do you make more money? You make more money by spending money.
Well, the Super League, what we wanted to do, that could have made a lot more money for us.
That would have ruined the whole the football pyramid. That would have killed football.
That's what the media said, bro. It wasn't. They put this is what I'm trying to say, John. You might have to do some research on it first, mate. That's not the whole point of it.
I want to kill football. Every single Liverpool fan turns around and says, we do not want the Super League.
Yeah, but the fans that you're listening to, bro, one, they listened to the news and then ran with whatever the pundits were talking about. They didn't actually research and actually looked at what it was going to do. It was actually going to be betterment for the lower, because more money was going to trickle down the league.
The Premier League threatened to kick us out.
What the issue was is the people in the higher power places wasn't able to get what they wanted to get. So they fought against that. And they pushed it as it was a bad thing for football. Because if that Super League happened, none of us would be sitting here about buying players. We would have had Mbappe. We wouldn't even have been talking about all these players that we can't and cannot get. We would just be buying them because the money that you would have got from winning that league or even participating in it. So nah, man, you can't just knock them.
Did the Premier League not threaten? The Premier League threatened to kick us out. UEFA threatened to kick us out. So therefore, you want to strip away.
They weren't getting greased. The pockets weren't getting greased. That's why.
I know, but you want to strip away. There was talk of stripping away 6 European titles off of Liverpool.
That was all the threat stuff, man, to stop what they wanted to do, mate.
If it's a threat or well, it's not a threat, I'm not willing to take that chance. That is our history.
John, even if they took it away, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. So, do you know what I mean? They could take away our league titles. It doesn't mean that we didn't win them.
I don't want it to happen. I really would not want it to happen.
need to stop running with what the pundits keep saying, because I keep hearing everyone repeat the same nonsense, bro. Every time I come on a stream or listen to any lives, all I hear is people repeat the same things without doing any research or even thought about it themselves. They've just gone, oh, they must be right.
All right, you
No,
may
they're
be
not.
okay. You may have a point on the European Super League. What about the stand? What about the training ground? Where did that money come from?
It came
Yeah,
from them.
I haven't got so much a problem with that. I mean, me and John spoke this before. I haven't got so much a problem with that because, you know, rich owners, very wealthy rich owners, once they got their business up and running, they usually no longer put their own money into anything anymore. They get loans and stuff like that.
Yes, they make out as if they bought the stadium. They're making out as if we've done this for you. Be grateful to us for doing it.
John, because it's happened under their ownership, ain't it? And it's not happened. Yeah, but to be fair, this hasn't happened for a long time under anyone else's ownership at this football club. So we've got to give them credit.
That's where you have to give. That's where you have to give them credit.
But they're paying for it. I know what you mean.
The thing is, all right, I echo absolutely everything that Ensman said, all right, in terms of the ownership.
Big up.
Yeah, big up. But yeah, honestly, I echo everything that Ensman had said. I'm like that with it as well. The only thing I wish, like everyone, we spend a bit more money. The only thing that I would say is they've looked after our club exceptionally well compared to the previous two clowns that were there. The only thing is we are still Liverpool Football Club. We need that bit more. If they did that to a top 6 club, they'd be epic owners. Owners. Liverpool, maybe, I think we just needed a little bit more in cash, but I don't have a problem with them whatsoever. They've done brilliantly well. Obviously, a couple of like clowning around things with the European Super League and stuff like that. It's just, listen, they've done more good than they've done wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look, no owner's perfect, are they? There's got to be no perfect owner. Look, if we get this apparent Saudi-Qatari partnership, now, look, if we get a Saudi-Qatari partnership, it's literally over for everyone. Because my only problem with a consortium partnership like this, now, Saudi Arabia and Qatar are not exactly...
They're not friends.
They're not the best of friends.
Are we spending in pounds, euros? What are we spending in?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, though, the last couple of years or something, there's been a bit more of a truce between the two countries or something like that. I've been reading, so that's why this deal is looking more likely. And look, with the Arab countries as well, especially around the UAE and stuff like that, they want to outdo each other all the time. Especially Qatar and Saudi Arabia, they always want to outdo each other. So if it's with their architecture or their way of life or things like that, because the two countries are also ran a little bit differently as well. Everyone thinks all the Arab countries are run exactly the same and stuff like that, and it's not true. And that, and look, if they cut, my only worry is a joint consortium like this is that who's in charge? That is my only worry about it. Obviously, we had it at Hicks and Gillette. This is at a less level. Hicks and Gillette alike.
It's actually the Saudis are in charge of this.
Yeah,
it's just Qatar put their name to it. Also,
they just want a cake. They want a slice of the cake.
Just be careful, because remember how Arsenal were. They were loggerheads with their owners, with Stan and the other guy.
That's the only worry, because what if these two countries, say in 5 years' time, fall out with each other again?
Well, the only thing difference with having these two as a consortium is that if the Qatar consortium want out, Saudi Arabia can easily afford to buy them out. This is the only difference. Like Hicks and Gillette, it didn't work because at the end of the day, them two didn't get on as it was going on as Liverpool owners, and they kept fighting. Hicks wanted to run Liverpool a certain way, Gillette wanted to run it a different way, and then when Tom Hicks, who took over for a while on his own, wasn't it? The little older one, Gillette.
George Gillette was actually trying to sell to Dubai.
Yeah, and Tom Hicks wanted to keep the club, didn't he? He wanted to keep the club, and then he couldn't afford to run it, and they just fell out. With obviously this consortium, if it does happen, like they're so wealthy, one of the others can trying to look, they'd buy him out easy. But my only worry is that look, if the Saudis are coming in and they want to be the boss, and Qatar are just having their slice of the cake, but you go down the road and Liverpool start to be a little bit more successful, because the money coming in, got Jurgen Klopp in charge, it's a bit more successful, and the Qataris are like, you know what, this club's been really successful now. We want the whole club, and the Saudis are like, but no, that's not the deal. We don't want to actually sell this club because they're successful as well. And as I said, they will want to outshine City's owners.
Yes,
that is their competition. They will want to completely outshine City's owners. They will want to completely outshine PSG's owners. This is their competition, and that is my only worry in that having a consortium. I'd rather it be just one complete owner.
Yeah,
owns and runs.
It becomes a toy. It becomes a rich man's toy, and I don't like the idea of people being like that to my football club. My football club is a heritage thing. It's a thing that it's not. You don't abuse it. You know what I mean? I'm hopeful that they will find. They've got independent people that are looking at what's right. I'm just hoping that they find someone that that has the right intentions. A bit like an Abramovich, for example. He had good intentions at Chelsea. You know what I mean? He done well for them. So sometimes, it's important to have the money, but sometimes you got to look at the structure and the best for the club in the future, because you don't know what the future holds.
No, exactly. Exactly. So what do you guys reckon? Do you reckon the club will be? Do you reckon FSG will fully sell, or it's just going to be an investment they're looking for?
I generally believe, Jamie, that this deal is a lot further along the line than people think. I think it's pretty much, I would say, 70% sold.
What makes you feel that, John?
It's just there's too much links, and what I don't believe new owners coming in spending 3 billion or 4 billion on the club and still having FSD, the old ownership, there in the background. That is going to make it a lot worse than having a consortium. Because you're going to fight with FSG. And does these new owners really want the answer? The FSG and go to the FSG, look, listen, how do you feel about this? They want to come in, work, own the club, and deal with the club of what they want to do and take the club as far forward as they can without running back to the old owners and ask their permission. And there's too much links. There's too much talk about it.
I don't think it's that far ahead, to be fair. If anything, to be fair, I think obviously Chelsea was an exception where they got things done really quickly because of what was going on in the world.
They had a time frame as well, didn't they?
That's right.
May, weren't it? I think.
Yeah. I think like Liverpool, there is no time frame for this, so I don't think it's as far. Liverpool are very good at doing things structurally and very quietly. However, having said that, I think there's going to be a process. I think you've obviously got the intention of selling, which is what was put out there. But I also think, at the same time, they're not even vetting people just yet. They're getting, interest in. Then they're going to have their bids. Then they're going to consider it. It's going to be. I don't think it's that. It's that far done. I think it's literally still very early stages. But right now we're going to be hearing maybe 1 or 2 names that are just sticking a little bit more. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see anything, including any leaks about any bids that have been put in yet. So as far as I'm concerned, it's still the way it is.
I think there's too many big top journalists coming out and saying that the club it's a full sale. Now, if you look at the way FSG worded things, they did it very smartly. So that they worded it in a way where if this deal falls through, they can still come out to me on the roses going, well, it wasn't a deal to suit us, but we never wanted to sell in the first place.
No, I think they have worded things correctly for a business point of view, and to save themselves, they wouldn't shoot themselves in the foot. Having said that, I think they're not sure themselves what they want to do. That's why I don't believe it's that far ahead, in terms of like anything. It wouldn't surprise me if come, after January, even the end of season, that we're still in the situation that we are.
Yeah, so
very possibly.
The only thing I've heard is that by the looks of it, Liverpool will be sold in 2023. Now, A lot of people are getting excited about that, you know. And what I've said is
that
that
could be next year, 2023.
2023, it could be November or December 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. You know, it doesn't mean it's going to be January, February, or something like that. You know, it's just or before the summer transfer window. You know, that's what a lot of people are getting excited about. Look, I'm with John. If it's a Saudi group or a Qatari group or a Dubai group coming in, they're not coming in for investment. They're there to buy the football club. You know, they're not coming in just to invest a few billion into the club and not see anything. But they're there to take over. If it's investment, it's obviously going to be an American or there's a German consortium as well. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah, he's the Liverpool fan.
Yeah. So, but he needs to get He needs to get loans together to buy the club, which I don't want. I don't want anyone who can't afford to buy a football club like Hicks and Gillette did, because it's like what they would do. Where they would take loans out on the football club as capital, right, and then straight away, you know, you got debt like
the Glazers.
Glazers have got, right? Because I read somewhere the other day, if Man United sold, if the Glazers sold Man United for 100 million as a laugh, right? That'd be hilarious, right? For 100 million, yeah, right? If they just sold, if someone came Man United tomorrow and went, here's 100 million, I buy the football club, and they went, yeah, all right, and the Glazers actually make 100 million pounds worth of profit.
Yeah.
That I do not want that. That is what you might as well keep FSG if that's the case. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want that. You might as well keep and I think FSG are looking at that as well, thinking, right, if someone comes in that can't really afford it but needs to get loans to come in, then we're not going to sell the football club to them. They come in as investors.
Well,
but we're not going to sell the football club.
That's one thing I respect about FSG, Jimmy. I don't think they're going to sell a club to anybody that they think aren't able to take the club forward.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to make sure they actually have the money in the bank to help Liverpool.
You don't know that for sure, man. Remember, business is business. We don't know. I mean, they have looked after Liverpool, but remember, if someone offers them stupid money, you know what I mean, then you'll see the true colours of what they were. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. In a you know, in a great life, you know what I mean, that's what you would want to happen. But sometimes that doesn't happen. With David Moyes, you know, he had the intention of, he loved Liverpool. You know what I mean? He was Liverpool fans. You know what I mean? He didn't know.
Family go back generations at Liverpool football.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So they didn't know what Gix and Gillette were up to. You know what I mean? You don't know. You just honestly don't know. But
he said that was the worst decision of his life. He regret that from day one.
Of course. But he wasn't to know, because he would never have done that.
No,
if he did know. Yeah. So, you know, business, the cold reality of it these days is, you know, money talks.
It certainly does.
It does. But again, that's where the Saudis come in, because if they're coming, you know for a fact they've got money.
Yeah. They got unlimited wealth. I mean, it's like I saw an article. Big up G, by the way. I saw an article. So you know when Times and Forbes and all that do their world's richest people in the world and all that, and it's either Jeffrey or it's someone with Microsoft or something like that, or Facebook. You know, one of these owners, right. The reason is because they tell the world their wealth. You're allowed to go and you can go and see it and all that. These oil guys from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, they don't tell you their wealth, man.
Yeah, they're quiet.
They can't put it down on the magazine and newspaper and tell you they are far richer than Amazon guy and all and everyone there. They're far richer. They're probably trillionaires. They've got unlimited wealth, man. You can't count on it. That's why when it comes to these, you can't really. But look, if a Saudi took over us, I mean, it's like game over. But there was talk about FSG not wanting to sell to Saudis or a Qatari or a Dubai group at first, weren't there? Because I think they had, because the Spirit of Shankly are on the AGMs now, ain't they? And they got fan and they got fans now in the AGM, because they did a thing the other year, didn't they? Where
that's right, yeah.
You can get more fans in the meetings now. Have a say. And I think the Spirit of Shankly don't really want Liverpool to be sold to a state nation. They want to keep it because the Spirit of Shankly and all that are happy with FSG and all that. There's a lot of people that hate FSG, but there's a lot of Liverpool fans and a lot of Liverpool people out there who actually really like FSG and not, are quite happy with their ownership.
Yeah,
So
they've not done nothing wrong, really, when you look at it. I mean, like we mentioned this at just, maybe 10, 15 minutes earlier. They've not done nothing really wrong. The only thing is what people want from that. And you're not going to always, make everybody happy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we are Liverpool Football Club. Yeah, we do want some more, we want to be able to compete with the cities and stuff like that. But in the cold day of light, we can't until something happens. And if that happens and everyone is in agreement with it, yeah, then that's the only way forward, by getting somebody like that, you know what I mean, that's got the money and the wealth. It is what it is.
Yeah, but the spirit, in terms of Jimmy, talk about the spirit of Shankly. The spirit of Shankly, yes, they're on the board, or they're on whatever they're on, but they have no decision in the sale of Liverpool Football Club. They have no say in the sale of Liverpool Football Club.
They need to be consulting.
No, but
they don't have.
yes, you can consult them, but they don't have any say on it at all. And also, the spirit of Shankly have done an awful lot of good work for the Liverpool fans and the Liverpool community. Don't take it away from them. But the spirit of Shankly don't speak for every single Liverpool fan.
Yeah, they know that, which is why I think they've obviously invited people for their opinions and stuff like that as well. So, but it's going to happen either way. Whatever's going to happen either way. It needs to. Most important thing, it needs to be right for this football club. That's all.
100%. And if it is the Arabs, then what they have to do is not only invest in the club, but invest in the surrounding area of Anfield.
Yeah, there's stuff that they will do.
Yeah,
there's stuff that they have to do as part, because it's not just buying the club. You've got to look at the council. The council need to be involved. It's not just a sale of a club. It's where the club is situated as well. Yeah. It's in Liverpool, so they've got to invest in Liverpool.
Yeah, they also need to invest in the women's team as well. I think that will be a very important topic as well.
Yeah, they're just starting to do that, aren't they?
It's going at the minute. Even maybe build Evans their own stadium.
You could just take Everton's old stadium.
Exactly. Take it over.
I actually think that is a thing they're looking at. But
sir, something.
I mean, they have. Sorry, John. They have. I think they've just started really investing into the women's Liverpool side properly over the last 2 seasons, don't they? Because I think when the Liverpool women team were very bad, weren't they? And I think they got relegated, and since they got relegated, I think they started to put a bit more investment into the actual women's team, ain't they? And now they're doing quite well. So, yeah, they do need their own ground, but so do all the women's football teams need their own ground. I don't think any women's football team got their own ground.
City have, yeah.
City are the only ones.
Yeah.
Because don't Barcelona's women play in the new camp as well?
Yeah.
But because the new camp has got a stadium underneath it, ain't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think they play in there. So, Leon playing Leon's. Yeah, I think
the Man City one's actually right beside the Etihad.
It's probably is it the academy pitch? The grand.
That's literally like a stadium in itself, Jimmy. Have you seen it?
I think the women's play on Man City's academy stadium, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't think it's their own.
Yeah, they do. I think they've invested in that bit where you got the senior team, which is the men's one, and then obviously you've got the academy along with the women, etc. It's a complex, basically.
Yeah, what I've said it for a while as well. What new owners do need to do though is sort out our academy.
Yeah,
our academy's trash. It's just you look at all our best academy players, yeah. So you look at Elliot, Carvalho, Doak, all these players that are coming through in our academy, right? Were all basically learned their trade at other academies.
They were found elsewhere. And scouting is bad,
and we just polished them up. That was all it is. You know what I mean? Like Ramsey. He's at Scotland. It's the only one is Trent. The only one that's been is Trent. So we do need to sort out the academy when the new owners come in. That is the definite thing they need to do. They need to put good investment into the youth. The only problem with northern sides and academies, so the hotbed of football is usually in London, ain't it? That is usually where the hotbed of football is. So you have got to try and get players to get a young boy coming from south up to north of the country. It might sound mad, but it's a total different way of everything. You're uprooting someone 200 miles away telling them to come all the way up here, give them a brand new, then you got to look after them because as a youth players, we know youth players, it might not work for them and they have to go back. So they need to go back to something. So you've got to look after them. And like Man City have done that really well. Man City have done that extremely well in their youth setup. But they've also got a few kids from their local area around Manchester that start to make it big, like a Foden. It's doing it at Man City. And that's what Liverpool need to do as well. That's what Liverpool need to start doing.
Yeah,
well.
they need to. The scouting and and stuff like that. They need to do this. This is the future of the club. I know people talk about they'll have money to sign players that etc. Won't need that all that, but it's the infrastructure. It's important.
Yes,
because otherwise, football will just literally die. England football will just die.
100%. Well, you can't just keep spending 200-300 million a summer. You need to bring up these youngsters from your academy.
You do, because look at people like the Sanchos and the Bellinghams and stuff like that. They've had to go elsewhere, and it's costing us big money to get them back to England. It's a lot, and they need to look at that.
No, most definitely, guys, most definitely. So, moving on to our last topic, the Dubai Cup. The Dubai. Oh, right, hang on, some breaking news. Sofiane Amrabat entourage met with Jurgen Klopp before the World Cup. Liverpool have agreed to talk to Amrabat's agent again after the World Cup. That's just breaking news. Big up to Lakers just sending me that on DM. But yeah, that is breaking news right now. Telling you, that's happening in January. It's an easy deal to do. It is a Liverpool deal that can be done. It's an FSG deal. I call some transfers an FSG type deal. This one's not going to be expensive. He's at a decent age, can come in, do a job. And if Klopp likes him, the thing is Klopp spoke to him. If Klopp spoke to him, that means Klopp likes him. So
that's the thing that he's done.
This is why I believe there's no new owners in the background, because this is a typical FSG Jurgen Klopp signing.
Yeah, it is. That's what I can say.
It is, but Bellingham isn't.
Yeah, but Bellingham. There's no talks about him coming to Liverpool to talk. So he's not. So they're already talking about this guy's talking.
There's too many talks of Bellingham joining Liverpool, so there must be something in the works.
There's speculation. We had Mbappe 2022 and all that kind of business there, and he's turned down.
Is Bellingham not really an FSG transfer? Because
I don't think
if you look at the quality of player, would you have said Thiago was an FSG transfer? The quality of player.
That's a good point.
So, if you think of it like that, I know it's a price thing, but if you actually look at the player himself in Jude Bellingham, the actual physical player,
no, it's definitely
he is an FSG Liverpool Jurgen Klopp kind of footballer.
He is. And remember, the thing is, sorry, John, let me just quickly add on this. Liverpool have obviously they've broken transfer records with FSG. Signing a goalkeeper, signing a defender. You know what I mean? So he is, but I just look at this one in particular with how much it's going to be. It might just be a little bit more than what FSG would want to spend if they're still in control.
And this is my point. What I'm trying to say is, if this deal is as far down the lines I think it could be, and what we're believed, what some journalists are saying it is, are the new owners maybe already calling the shots? Because it's not going to affect FSG in any way, really. But are the new owners now in behind calling shots and saying, right, before we sign up on this, we want such and such in the door?
Yeah, Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice. But we're still looking for acrobats and Salcidos. So
then are the owners trying to call the shots already behind the scenes?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I said to everybody, and saying to G here, and G's like, this is what I'm saying as well. I said to everybody, Liverpool go buy a player in January no one's heard of. I remember saying this. I said it to everyone. Liverpool go buy a player in January no one's heard of. Everyone's talking about Caicedos and Judes and all that. And I think I said it with G as well before, that Liverpool will buy a midfielder in January that maybe no one's ever heard of, or has heard of but not seen play much, or has had a good World Cup and we go and buy. Now, and that's what G's saying there. It's funny, I know we spoke about Amrabat before the World Cup. I didn't really speak about him. I didn't know much of a player, but I did say It wouldn't shock me. I also said I thought we might need to buy a player from the Premier League, right? But when I watch Amrabat in the World Cup, the more I've watched him for Morocco, right, being that defensive midfielder, the more I just think he does look like a Jurgen Klopp kind of midfielder. He does. He's 26 years of age. So he's a good age. And I watched him in this World Cup. He's got his mobility. He's got mobility. He covers ground extremely well. He played the whole 120 minutes against Spain. And you got to remember, Spain passed the ball around of you and move you around everywhere. And Amrabat played the whole 120 minutes. So obviously, energy is not a problem. Mobility is not a problem. He gets stuck in. Yes, he's like a basic kind of footballer on the ball, but for the job he's going to do, I can see why Jurgen Klopp wants him. He is a Liverpool FSG, as you say, Baz, kind of deal.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, to me, it's just basically a replacement, or maybe someone that gives competition to Fabinho.
Yeah.
Gives Fabinho a rest as well. We rely on him too much. I like Fabinho. I love Fabinho. At the moment, the man looks 47 years of age. He looks really bad. He's got them. He's got like he looks like he don't sleep. He looks like he's aged in his face, and he's only 29. I mean, he shouldn't be looking like this, but because of the way we play and our system we play with under Jurgen Klopp, it asks a lot of you as a footballer. And when you look at Fabinho, he plays all the time when he's fit, and he's the defensive midfielder in the team. So shattered. So someone like Amrabat coming in, you can afford to give Fabinho a rest. Yes, he's not as good as Fabinho when Fabinho's at his best, but we've got really no one else in that position to give Fabinho a rest.
Yeah.
And what I've seen of him in this World Cup, as I said, he played 120 minutes against Spain, getting pulled all around the pitch with their passing and pressing, and he was absolutely fantastic in that game. So I've got no worries with him playing Premier League football at all. And it's a decent deal, especially for January. It's that body in midfield. He's decent on the ball.
It's important. We need even if it's just silly signings like 25-30 million for decent players. Yeah, we need it because you know what? At this moment, until something's done in terms of ownership, blah blah blah, we still got to get top four.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
We can't stand still, boys, can we?
No, we can't. And you look at the teams that are above us. They're all, they've all got money.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Some teams, them £25 million players can turn out to be the best signings you can make.
Well, if you look at most of Liverpool signings, that's the way it is, ain't it? Like Salah we bought Bobby, Salah, and Mane for 99 million.
That's crazy when you think about it, isn't it?
And they were one of the best front threes in Europe. You know what I'm saying?
For a good 4 or 5 years.
And now you got Mo. I think he's only a couple of goals away from being a top 5 ever goal scorer at a football club.
Yeah.
I mean, so
at 30 something odd million.
Yeah.
35,
so yeah,
37.
you don't always have to go and buy £100 million players. I mean, look at Jack Grealish. He's not really doing it at Man City at 100 million, is he?
No.
He's not doing what you consider £100 million footballer should do.
He's not a £100 million footballer, but
no. But City wanted him, so they paid it, and that's the thing. But then we can just keep ticking. With these Oxcater level players. How long does that last? Gee, I've already said, man. I think we don't need these world-class players in our midfield. I literally think we can look. Our best midfielder I've seen Liverpool buy since the likes of Alonso, Mascherano, and Gerrard is Thiago, and we've only won the League Cup and FA Cup with him. We won the Premier League and Champions League with Wijnaldum, a Fabinho, a Hendo, and a Milner, and an Ox.
Yeah, true.
And a Navigator. So I think if the system works, football's all about systems. Football is all about systems. It's not about getting. I watched Real Madrid. Real Madrid, when they had their Galacticos, by the way, didn't win hardly as much as they win now. I think everyone forgets that.
Yeah,
Real
that's
Madrid,
true.
their Galacticos didn't win as much as they do win now,
Yeah.
right? And you know, there was a time they suffered in the Champions League badly. They couldn't get past the last 16 in quarterfinals for a few years. You know, really suffered badly in Champions League because, you know, and I remember Zidane saying, I remember when Real Madrid sold Makelele to Chelsea, and I remember Zinedine Zidane saying he couldn't believe it because we're not the same team without him. And everyone was like, "What, Makelele? You're Zidane. You got Figo. You got Beckham. You got R9. What you on about?" And he was the glue. He was the glue. You need these, and like you look at Chelsea. Chelsea are buying these big name stars, yeah, right, and they're below us in the Premier League, right, and we've had injury issues to all our main stars. So I think you got to buy players that suit your system. If your manager thinks he's got a system that's a winning system, I mean, look at Man United. Wes Brown's got multiple league trophies. He ain't that great as a defender. John O'Shea has got multiple Premier League trophies, but they played in a system that Alex Ferguson had at Man United. It was out of this world, right? And these players fit into that system, and you got the best out of them.
Absolutely.
It's all about systems. It's a team game.
Yeah.
It's a team game. You know, you need quality players. I'm not saying you go and buy 5 average footballers and then Jurgen Klopp can make something of them because they work into a system. You've got to have players good enough that can work that system. You know, so Klopp sees Jude Bellingham as a good enough player that can work in his system. I think Jude Bellingham does have limitations to his game. You know, he's not I don't think he's a goal scoring assist merchant from midfield or anything like that. I don't think that's all his game. He's a power midfielder with technical ability that can drive forward with the ball and make things happen. And that's what Jurgen wants. You know, that's the sort of midfielder Jurgen wants. And at 19 years of age, he does that exceptionally. And that's why he wants that sort of player. So I think Jurgen thinks if he trusts his system and believes his system works, if you get the right players in. Again, I keep saying, look, Chelsea have got probably a bigger squad than we have, and they're below us in the Premier League after spending 300 million in the summer. Liverpool, you can tell before the season finished for the World Cup, Liverpool started to go again. Right? Liverpool was starting to go again because players were coming back. It's no coincidence. Players are coming back from injury, coming back to fitness, and Liverpool started to go again. You know, you got Darwin playing on the left, where it looks like it suits him better. You got Bobby in the form of his life in the number 9. Bobby is still integral to that system working. You know, Mo's coming back into form because of it. Yeah, but gee, that don't matter. Look, I get why people say this, yeah, but this system's only won us 1 title and 1 Champions League, yeah. But apart from Man City, that's better than everyone else in the Premier League.
Yeah,
this is it. I mean,
look, Man City are an anomaly. They got probably the greatest manager of his generation, and unlimited wealth with tremendous world-class players all over the pitch.
Yeah,
that can keep going. Yeah, but Klopp, they still not won a Champions League, but they've won multiple Premier Leagues.
The thing is, what I'd say, sorry, Jamie, what I'd just say with that, is if this, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right with the system and the players that can be that Klopp needs for this system. If people are not happy with that, then we need to look at and we need to have a very uncomfortable talk about maybe the manager.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No.
No, it's true. It is true, though, because
I get
no
what you're saying.
guarantee that Saudi come in and buy Liverpool and we get all the players Jurgen wants, yeah? Right? So we get all the players Jurgen wants, yeah? Saudi owners come in, we get all the players Jurgen wants, yeah? Everyone's happy. The fan base like, oh, look at this team we got, yeah? But Man City keeps still winning Premier League and we keep still finish second.
Yeah.
Who do we look at then?
Well, you want to look at the manager, obviously.
Well, this is it. This is a conversation that people sometimes will have to look at.
Baz, you're 100% right. It is a conversation we maybe do need to have in the future. But I still think that Jurgen Klopp is the best manager for us at this moment in time.
Oh, I agree.
There's no disputing that. There's no disputing that at all. But all I'm saying is, like, obviously, if it's a system thing,
Yes.
But sometimes people even this season are questioning Klopp because he's had to make a few changes here and had to do that. We came into the season with, I think it was nearly 10 injuries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yes, there are some players' forms that have dropped, obviously. Yes, we can talk about, he a bit too sentimental with players that should have been gone or, etc. There's a lot of conversations to be had. It's not, it's not coincidental. Having said that, players that have come in, after your injuries, we've improved. We're currently sitting fifth, aren't we? Or something like that? Or sixth, fifth or sixth?
I can't even remember.
Yeah, I mean, like,
forever.
Yeah, that 2-0, that game against Southampton, the last game, just put us nicely for the World Cup. So let's see what happens when we come back.
Yeah, I mean, look,
4 days.
Yeah, we're sitting sixth at the minute.
We're sitting sixth. Yeah,
yeah, we were 8th and 9th and 12th at some points. You know what I mean? We're sitting at a better situation. There's only 4 days before transfer window. If anything does happen, which I think there will be maybe at least one signing, we can judge it better.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an uphill. Look, getting this top 4, we're on 22 points and Tottenham are on 29 points. It's good, but I can't believe Arsenal are on 37 points. It's absolutely madness. Do you know what? I do think the time just came up. So I think a lot of people say the World Cup came at a wrong time for us because we started going on a winning streak, right? But I just feel like I think it was a good thing for us because when we come back, every other team has to go again.
Yeah.
Right? Every other team has to go again. And there's no guarantee. So Arsenal, I think it came at the worst time for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Personally. Because now Arsenal have to go again. Plus they've just lost Gabriel Jesus for 3 months. Yeah. And I know Arsenal fans think because they've spent money recently, they think they're just going to buy someone in January. I don't know if that's going to be the case. So if they don't, Arsenal are going to be in a bit of trouble, and they have to go again. The only one I can see, City will go again, but City are slow starters. They're always slow starters in the Premier League. So they'll have to go again. What will happen to Newcastle's form? I think the World Cup came at a bad time for Newcastle. Because Newcastle's momentum was just carrying them, man. And I've been talking about momentum in football a lot. Leicester winning the Premier League was because of momentum, right? And that's why I said, if the World Cup hadn't come and Newcastle just kept this momentum, and with January around the corner, you couldn't actually say they ain't in the title hunt because they're on 30 points right now, 7 points behind. But momentum was carrying them, man. They was in a good place. Everyone's happy. There's no injuries. Eddie Howe's doing a good job. They've got money coming. They got money, obviously. January's coming in. The owners are going to be like, you know what, we can screw the top 4. Let's just go for it. And a title charge could actually happen, right? Tottenham, I think it came at the right time for them because their form was terrible. Chelsea the same, and Man United the same. So I think the World Cup is actually come at the wrong time for the likes of Arsenal and Newcastle, be honest, because they now have to start again, like you do at the beginning of the season. But for Liverpool, I think Liverpool just come at the, at the right time for us. Players are coming back now. We're getting players back fit again. And obviously, January's around the corner. And the way it looks at the moment, it's definitely going to happen. So I've just got some more breaking news as well. Liverpool plan to sign Amrabat in January as a midfield reinforcement for the second half of the season. So it definitely looks like that's the one they're going for. Big up the Lakers sending me that. That looks like that's the one that's going to happen. So if they get him in, that's a body in midfield. After what I've seen of him in the World Cup, I'm more than happy him coming to Liverpool. More than happy.
Oh, he's been decent. You know what I mean? He's been decent.
He's the best DM in the World Cup. I find it hard to find anyone who's had a better defensive midfield performance this World Cup over Amrabat. I really do find it difficult to find anyone. So people go put Rodri or someone like that in there just because of his name. But he's been decent. But look, we've got obviously the Dubai Cup, which is taking place this week, end of this week. Players back. We've taken a 33-man team to Dubai. We've taken Adrian, Kelleher, Thiago, Bobby, Joe Gomez, Joe Matip, James Milner, the Ox, Nat Phillips, Robbo, Salah, Costas, Carvalho, Ramsey, and then youngsters like Harvey Davis, Fabian Morozak, Peter Luger, who's had his loan cancelled, apparently. So Peter Luger's gone on this loan on this trip. So Peter Luger had his loan cancelled. Did you know about that?
No.
Stefan Bahatach. Kate Gordon is fit again.
Oh, wow.
Luke Chambers, Bobby Clark, Freuendorf, who, I would have left him at home. Leighton Stewart, Ben Doak, Jake Kane, and Dominic Corness. The travelling party also, Luis Diaz is there. Travelling party also in first team starters, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, Naby Keita, and Arthur Melo, who will continue to work on the individual rehab program with their representative injuries. But I think Klopp has said that yesterday that Diaz is back now.
Yeah,
Diaz is in full
he was in training.
Yeah, Diaz is in full training, and Diogo Jota ain't actually that far away. Obviously, we know that Arthur Melo won't be back till February at the latest, so he's just he's basically going to Dubai for a suntan. So that's basically
him back to Juventus.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the team, guys. That's the team. Obviously, we got Lyon. I believe is it on Friday? We play Lyon.
So Friday, yeah.
Yeah. I might be doing a watch along. I can't do a watch along for it because I've got the World Cup. But yeah, it's unfortunate it's on the same time as the World Cup. Otherwise, I probably would have done a watch along for that because they could put out a strong team in this Dubai Cup. You know, you got a lot of players. The only ones we're missing really is Ibu, Allison, Fabinho, Henderson, and Trent from the first team.
I genuinely believe he won't put out a strong team, Jimmy, because he's going to want his first team, his big hitters, to hit form as soon as possible. Like Mo Salah, he's going to want Mo Salah to start and start banging goals in as early as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Mo want to get back into it. Obviously, I think Darwin's going to fly out to Dubai today. I think he's flying out to Dubai today. He went home for a little bit.
I don't think he'll play any part. Billy, do you reckon he'll play?
No, I think he'll just fly out there and do some training. I think that's all he's going out there for. So he'll be out there. Yeah, I mean, it's good that Luis Diaz is back. I think he's a fabulous player. Absolutely fabulous player. Got a thing, though. Me and Gia spoke about this. Big up, G. Me and Gia have been speaking about this, about Darwin Núñez. Now, we bought Darwin Núñez, as we all thought. We all thought we were buying Darwin Núñez as a number 9, didn't we? We all thought we were buying Darwin Núñez as an out-and-out number 9. Now, I've said before, watching him, I don't think that's what he is. I don't think he is an out-and-out number 9 in the old-fashioned sense of the word. He's not like a Haaland or an Ivan Toney or, them sort of number 9s. He's more of a fluid. He's a fluid number 9, if that makes sense, where he can play that position and he still can play left wing of a 4-3-3. Now, as we've seen the last few games for Liverpool, he's been playing on that left-hand side.
Yeah.
And playing extremely well and getting goals and creating havoc. Now, we bought Luis Diaz, and Luis Diaz, for me, looks like he can play, obviously, off the left wing. That's where he likes to play. But he looks like he can play centrally as well. Now, have we got a Luis... Are we going to have a front three eventually? Do you think Klopp eventually wants a front three of Salah on the right, Darwin as the number 9, and Luis Diaz off the left? Or has he seen now that Darwin is very good off the left, and Klopp's mentioned it himself, that he looks better off the left? Are we having a fight now between who starts on the left between Diaz and Darwin, and Bobby and Jota as the 9s? What do you guys reckon?
No, I think he still sticks with Núñez as the number 9 when Luis Diaz comes back in the team. So if we can Luis Diaz can play on the right as well, and you could have Mo Salah up top.
Yeah. I think they're all fluid. I think they can all play. Yeah. I think really with Mo's more. I don't think Mo really works as that 9 because he doesn't really want to play with his back to goal.
Yeah.
I think Mo's the only one out of them all really truly can. Mo and Bobby are the only ones in our forward line who truly can only play in a certain position. Bobby 9, Mo right. I think the others are all a bit fluid. They can play along the front three.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will. I think because they are fluid enough. You know, I think at some point when Klopp gets his players that he needs, you know, he's going to go back to the same system as he went before, the 4-3-3. You know what I mean? And I actually think they will probably end up having, you know, it will be fluid. It's gonna happen. I could see it. But it's competition, and that's what we need. We need competition in the right places. You know what I mean? You know, because Diaz is epic. You know, and then when you've got someone like Nunes that's been decent, but he offers something different. You know, it's good. And then Jota, I think they look at him now as a number 9. Now, really, they look at him as a centre. Before he was on the left, but again, because of his fluidity, you know what I mean, he can actually go there. And yeah,
John.
Yeah, I'm happy with any one of them. I love Lewis. I love Darwin Núñez on that left hand side. I prefer him on the left hand side than what they do up top. I think he's a lot better cutting in on the left. Jada's probably our best out and out number 9 these days. Because the problem with Bobby, I don't know what you guys think. I think Bobby tends to drift too much into midfield.
Yeah,
Bobby's brilliant if Bobby just stays in the box as a poacher.
Yeah, he's actually quite. Look, when Bobby's in the box, he's actually quite a deadly finisher.
Yeah, he's probably one of our best finishers when he's in the box.
The problem is he's never been that kind of player. That's the thing, isn't it?
It's hard to coach him to start doing that, isn't it?
Yeah. At the grand age of 30 odd years old, whatever he is.
But he's still. I love
where will it see to the Anfield, John? How did you manage?
It's not too bad, mate. Nice and sunny. Overcloud.
Big up my man, Pat Man. Pat Man's great. He's a Man City fan, but Pat Man's great. We love Pat Man over here. G's right here, though. I will say, G is right here. We literally are crying out for a right winger to replace Salah, but we got a lot of left wingers and strikers. Look, even when we're looking at Gakpo as well. Apparently, now he prefers to play, you know, centrally. So, you know, that's another player we're looking at. We're not actually ever looking at attackers who can actually play off the right hand side. I don't know why that is. I don't know why. Look, I've said this for a long time. The best players in the world in their positions rarely get rotated. Always play.
Yeah.
No, till right now, because Ronaldo's 37 and the end of his career. Ronaldo never really got rotated for anyone, did he? You know, wherever his position was, he played. You know, Messi the same. You know, there's always been players. Salah's one of them. You know, he is a right winger, so you've got to make sure the right winger you get in. You know, it's going to be very hard to go right. You know, you're coming in, but you go replace. You know, your Mo's replacement. So the quality has to be quite. You don't want the drop off to be like that, do you? Like the Mo's there and then his replacement's down here. That's too low and drop. So you've got to get that. That's why it's taken so long to find someone to go right back with Trent.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking a lot. You know, we're looking a lot at people up front. Our up front issues haven't been a problem. It's our midfield, and we need to be looking more of midfielders as opposed to up fronts. We can overload and have 10 different, you know, strikers up front, but where our problem is at the moment is midfield.
Yeah, 100%. We don't have a real big problem scoring goals. It's getting the ball to the forward lineup.
No, exactly. That's our problem. It always has been our problem. Like you look at when we had all our injuries at centre back the year after we won the Premier League. You know, all the strikers were fit.
Yeah,
all the strikers were fit, still scoring goals, but we couldn't stop conceding. This year, all our strikers are fit, still scoring goals, but we can't stop conceding because our midfield don't work.
Right.
It's sort of the same problem. And we've never really had I know Jota gets his injuries and Diaz is his injuries, but because we've got quite a lot of depth in the forward areas, we're still getting away with it a little bit. So, you know, you still got Darwin, Bobby and Salah there still doing things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely need that midfield. We do need to be out. That's why I'm worried about that we should sign Jude and just go out and do our business. Yeah, I think G's worried that we only signed Jude. We signed Jude and that's it. But look at it. By the look of it, it's a lot of people in the chat not fancying this Amrabat. I can understand everyone's thing because, as I said, we're buying him off form of a World Cup. How many people were watching for Fiorentina and Hennis Verona, I believe, was his team before that. So how many people have been watching him? He's 26 years of age. He's come to the world stage. Look, I'm looking at a player who's a DM. I'm looking at a DM. Right? The position he's playing is interesting because if it was a forward, it's like going and someone going to Benfica and buying Cancelo Ramos after one hat trick yesterday. Yeah, right. And then right, you're buying a player on like it's different. He's playing in a DM role, so you're seeing him all game.
Yeah.
You know, because he's busy all game. And what I'm seeing is like, in my opinion, the best DM in the World Cup this year so far. It's been the most impressive anyway. And he's 26. As I said, I saw him play against Spain, who pull you all about everywhere possession-wise, high energy, high press for 120 minutes, and he had a solid game.
Where we've been poor this season is where Fabinho has been, and this is exactly where this guy plays. Now, where time will tell whether he can, withstand the hustle and bustle of the Premier League, because obviously Premier League is a lot faster than your international. You know what I mean? It's more tactical in the World Cup or international. But this isn't this guy he just mentioned, Moussa Diaby. I think this guy he's my dream signing.
Yeah,
he can play on the left and the right.
Thing is, though, he ain't coming in to cover anyone.
This is
the problem. Players like Moussa Diaby are coming in to be a first teamer, and no one. Look, I don't care who he is. You're not doing Salah as the number one at this moment in time. It just, I think we disrespect Mo too much. I think a lot of people disrespect Mo too much. His goals are ridiculous. And I think it's only when Mo leaves Liverpool Football Club that we acknowledge how great he actually was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
at the same time, though, Jamie, we do need to look at when before he has that big drop off.
Yeah, you need to
find someone.
You do need to find it. But someone like a Diaby, for me, is a player you get to replace Mo. That is, if you're going to get a Moussa Diaby, you're replacing Mo Salah. You're not there as a backup. And as I said, Mo ain't going to play rotation. You know what I mean? So it's just that, and I don't think we can't afford that sort of player to sit on the bench and rotate either. Do you know what I mean? And I look at Man City. I look at Man City forwards. Yeah, what have they got? They got Haaland, who's there out and out 9, Alvarez, and Mahrez. Who else they got? And Foden, who came through their academy, and they let Sterling go, right? So basically, you're playing probably Foden. I think they play, and they let Gabriel Jesus go. So they're playing Foden and who are they playing? Jack Grealish, Foden, and
Mahrez.
Who's their forward?
Mahrez, isn't it?
No, not Mahrez. The other one. Because Mahrez's legs are gone, ain't they? He's not a player once.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not.
Games now. But yeah, they play Haaland, Grealish, and Foden as their front three. Yeah, and then Alvarez comes in.
Yeah.
Occasionally to either replace a Grealish or a Foden or a Haaland himself, right?
Yeah.
Basically, they're forwards. Yeah, we have Jota, Bobby, Salah, Diaz. And it's kind of equal. And then if you go and get a Moussa Diaby, I just don't see. I think someone like a Moussa Diaby replaces a Mo Salah. I think I think the Mo Salah replacement needs to be a young guy no one's really heard of. I really do.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and that's what Liverpool is special with. That they tend to find these kind of like people that there is no name. Do you know what I mean? There's no name to it. It's basically a Nike without the Nike branding.
Yeah. It's like you look at their forwards are Grealish, Foden, Alvarez, Haaland, and Silva. Really, truthful, Foden and Alvarez and Haaland are only the real forwards in that lineup there. Like Grealish can play in a
Yeah.
4-4-2. You know, he can play midfield quite comfortably. Foden can play midfield quite comfortably. And Bernardo Silva really is a midfielder, ain't he now? He's not the winger no more. He's really a midfielder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and then you got Palmer and Mahrez. Palmer's an attacker. Mahrez is an attacker. So they're real attackers. So, yeah, I mean,
The thing with those players, sorry, Jamie, the thing with those players, apart from Haaland, those players are not proven to be injury-prone players or players that not get knocks often at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. But again, this is where people look at someone like Man City and go, right, they're playing Foden and Grealish in forward areas, not resting other players yet. That's fine, but it's because it fits Pep's system. You know,
right.
It fits Pep's system. Look, Foden is a midfielder that's been turned into a forward under Pep, and it's worked, right? It's worked, and now it's working for England as well. But he's a midfielder. He's a midfielder that's been turned into a forward. Jack Grealish could easily play in a deeper role in a midfield area, but he can play in that forward area. It's not quite working at City at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pep can just get that working. Haaland is an out-and-out forward. Alvarez is an out-and-out forward. And Mahrez is an out-and-out forward. But I've heard a lot of City fans say that Mahrez ain't the player he was now, and his legs have gone a little bit. And what I've seen of Palmer for Man City, you know, they've got another great youth player there as well.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah, they've got a lovely, good little youth player there as well.
Yeah,
so,
he's brilliant, he is.
Yeah, so a lot of their forwards were midfielders that have now become forwards. And for some reason, and it works because it works in their system. And Foden's a generation, I'm not generation, I hate that word, but he's a great player. He's a talent that can fit into either being a midfielder or a forward because he's that good as a footballer. Yeah. But then I get Liverpool fans telling me that, you know, for some reason Klopp's turned Elliott from a right winger into a central midfielder, but they praise Pep for turning midfielders into forwards. I don't get it. Don't get it.
We can never please people sometimes. It's all about opinions, eh?
Yeah, it's definitely all about opinions. But City have got we can't always look at City and what City do. I think we do that too much as fans. I think we look at that far too much as fans. We all go and look at what Man City do all the time, what Pep's doing, and it's a different world.
Well,
Pep's got a different system to us. Mahrez has got a different. You know, he's got obviously more wealth than us, more money than us. He's a different manager to Klopp. He plays a different system. Why do we always go and look at what Man City's doing? I don't get it. We should just...
You're right. The only problem with that is obviously because over the last 4 years, it's just been us and them. That's the only thing.
That's why everyone looks at it. Yeah, exactly.
But it's wrong. It's wrong because we are different.
Our own
exactly.
Do our own thing. You know, we just got to trust in the club, the manager, and what they think. Look, and if people don't like it, I understand. You know, if you want to be more like Man City, go for it.
Yeah,
you know, try it. But I'd rather just us be ourselves. You know, it's like me and G disagree on this. So me and G are cool on this, but yeah, I rate Elliott higher than what G does, but me and G go back and forth on that. But that's cool. But yeah, I think Elliott for a 19-year-old is a very good footballer. I just don't think I think we forget he's 19. A lot of people are not happy with Amrabat. Where I saw a comment a minute ago. Where was it? Hang on, let me get. There you go. Anfield Reds in the house. Amrabat has high energy, but I have to question marks about his passing under pressure. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but then I can say the same about Fabinho at times as well. Yeah. What Amrabat's going to bring us though is that energy in midfield, and also that work rate in midfield, and that getting stuck in. You see how he gets stuck in. He's going to bring that to us. Now with that, you could play bringing that sort of player in changes our way we can play a little bit. Because you can play him and Fabinho together in a double pivot as just defensive midfielders. Yeah. And play an attacking midfielder in front of him. That then gives that attacking midfielder more license. Because you've got two proper defensive midfielders behind you. You know what I mean? And it gives you that attacking midfielder a little bit more license. because you see that Klopp's trying to play this 4-2-4, you know, or this 4-2-3-1, where he's trying to put more attackers on the pitch because he knows that's where the talent is.
Yeah.
But you could do that with an Amrabat and a Fabinho playing together. Or
Do you know?
you give Fabinho a rest and you create Ambiat with a Thiago in a double pivot.
Absolutely. The
Give
thing
someone
is,
else a bit more license.
yeah, the thing is, I mean, to be fair, we do need reinforcements, whether they're going to be fashionable ones or not so fashionable ones. You know, these players can be coached into it, like little things like that. You know, he's not played on high levels. You know, I mean, he's going to come at Liverpool, and you know, if there's a player in there, there's a player, and then Klopp will do that. The other thing is, I look at Newcastle last year. They were in big trouble. You know what I mean? And they bought players just to fit their system to get them through it, the hard times. And this could potentially be. It wouldn't surprise me if we actually. I have a feeling we'll just get maybe one, if not two, signings this in January, if that. And to be fair, I don't mind if they do spend a little bit. You know, they just spend little money on players that are not so fashionable to get us through this. Because when we look at it in our way, all right, we weren't like where Newcastle are, but given our high standards and how far we've dropped,
you
know, these could be just plugins, potential plugins. I don't know. I'm just, you know, we definitely do need reinforcements.
Yeah.
I don't think we need as many as what people think we need.
No, I've been saying.
I think we do. Because we lost obviously two players last. Well, you know, we lost Taki and we lost Divock. We got players there's 5 players that are out of contract. We might renew 1 or 2 of them. Otherwise, these guys are going, and we very, very, you know, thin, very, very, very thin. So we do need a huge investment in midfield somehow.
Yes,
and
but
maybe
what I mean by that, I don't think we're in as bad a shape. I don't think it's going to take much to fix this team.
I don't know. Sometimes you do need some. You know. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword, really. When you look at, like, you know, we used to complain where we used to lose every time. We used to lose 1 or 2 of our good players every season. Now we've had people like the Salahs and people staying at Liverpool. It can sometimes be a bit stale, and sometimes you need new ideas or new faces and stuff. Yeah. Like, you know, as far as I'm concerned, when we did lose Genie, all right, fine, Enzman was right. We did replace him with Thiago, but unfortunately with injuries, etc. But sometimes you just need that refreshment in there, you know what I mean, to like just spray the cobwebs off, because we are a machine. We've been a machine for how many years with, you know, people in midfield that have just done that same job. Sometimes when you look at what Mane was about, you know, some could question it was money, some could question it wasn't the love that he was getting, like Salah was getting. One of his reasons was it was just the same old thing every day. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know what I mean, with a team like that, you know, but there isn't a lot of problems. You still need to refresh it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, with 1 or 2 players, it brings different ideas, different ways of playing, you know what I mean? So
yeah, look, I think the club is. I do think, you know, I'm quite a positive fan, as most people know, but I do think the squad is just a little stale at the moment, and just it just needs a little bit, you know, a bit of sprinkling on top of it. You know, like I think that's all it needs. I still look at a lot of these players. Like, you go through the squad, you look at Alisson. Yeah, you ain't gonna buy anyone better. You know what I mean? It's just like, he's the best in the world at the moment. Although there was this argument online on Twitter the other day where everyone was like, because Peter Schmeichel said Alisson's not that great. Did you see that? I mean, that's just ridiculous comment by him. And said
he's next man. He's going
he said Edison's a better goalkeeper. Like, even Pac-Man will tell you, because I think Pac-Man said it already. And I know Man City fans that have said that. No, Alisson is the best at the moment. There's no problem with that. Look, Alisson. I know a lot of Liverpool fans, we get had a go at sometimes. We gas our players up too much, but Alisson is one I'm gassing up, man. He is the best in the world at the moment in his position as a goalkeeper.
Absolutely,
there's no doubt about that. Look, Virgil, this World Cup has been good. You can tell he was waiting for the World Cup. He looks much better he's been at the World Cup than he has done for Liverpool in the last games. So I'm still happy with Virgil. Konate looks great. I think Konate, when he's played for France, the couple of games he's played, has looked better than Varane.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Konate is going to be special, so he's great. We do need some centre-back reinforcements, though, because Matip's coming to 30 now, starting to pick up injuries again. Joe Gomez is dog shit. So we do need we need some some players there in that position. But we're all right at the moment. See, Pac-Man, sensible. See, Edison is better at his feet, but Alisson is better everywhere else. Exactly. See, and Peter Schmeichel coming up with his utter bollocks, just can't handle it. You look at our midfield, obviously that needs reinforcements. And the forward line, look, Salah has been at the club a long time now, but he's not going stale at any stretch of imagination. No. Darwin Núñez is a breath of fresh air to that forward line. I think he's going to be great. Same with Luis Diaz, same with Jota. And Bobby, look, Bobby's having a great season so far. So, but we do need to replace Bobby going forward. And eventually we will need a Mo Salah replacement. But these are like a year or two away yet to start putting that into cementing that. But if you get our midfield, right now, at the beginning of the season, if we had a Declan Rice and a Jude Bellingham in this midfield right now, we'd be fighting Man City for the Premier League.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's the midfield where everything's going wrong at the moment. And with our injuries, what's happening with our injuries this season is that last time, when we got injuries, it's the first team players and the second team players come in and they do okay and they keep us going. But our injuries are happening to the first team and the second team players at the same time. So no one's coming in to replace anyone. That's why we're struggling. So hopefully they're all back and we can keep them fit. But we do need players. We need players. There's no doubt about it. We do need players, but it's the right players as well. I know people saying João Felix. I just don't think João Felix fits Liverpool's system. Where does João Felix play in this Liverpool team?
Yeah,
I don't know where he plays. If he's going to play anywhere, it's off the left-hand side. And yet again, we're overcrowded off the left-hand side. You got Darwin and Jota and bloody Luis Diaz that could all play out there. So you're over covered on that area. So I don't know where you play João Felix. Enzo Fernandez, big up Bailey. Enzo Fernandez is one, more of a deep line midfielder. He could be someone who could come into this team. I got to say though, I know he scored that great goal for Argentina, but I haven't been that impressed with him in this World Cup.
In this World Cup, I don't think he's done. He's been all that. To be fair,
He scored that great goal.
Yeah,
Apart from that, I don't think he's been that good.
No.
No, I mean in the World Cup, no. But I mean, he has got promise. That guy,
he's
Benfica, doesn't he?
Definitely got promise, but
yeah,
I definitely don't think he's been that that great. Felix and Darwin up top. Jesus Christ, they ain't gonna do nothing. But the problem is we don't play 4-4-2. This is the thing. See, this is the thing. Remember, this is what I'm saying, guys. We got to buy players that suit our system and the way we want to play.
This is it.
We can't just do Football Manager and just go, right, we'll play Felix and just turn it into 4-4. So if we play 4-4-2 with Felix and Co-up, if we play Felix and Darwin up top in a 4-4-2, where does Mo play?
This is it. You know what I mean?
It's like...
Our system is going to be our system. Our system is going to be our system until we look at maybe, talking about the Klopp situation. This is how we're going to play.
Yeah. Klopp's not going to change the system.
That's why I said, man, we do need defenders and midfielders and forwards. That's what we were just saying there. But like the club is stale. There's no doubt. Like team is stale. I just went through it. Like we need probably 2 centre backs in the next year or so.
That Gravendal.
We definitely need some midfielders, obviously, and we do need to think about eventually replacing Mo and Bobby. I mean, that's like 5 to 6 players, that we need to come in the next 24 months. 7 players in the next 24 months is what Liverpool need to bring in. Now that will only happen if we do get new ownership. That will only happen if we get new ownership. But we do need them players to come in. But but right now we haven't bought enough in the last 5 years to keep the team fresh. I would agree with that. But there is,
We're probably two or three transfer windows behind.
yeah. But then I've said this all the time. I don't always just blame the owners for that.
No, you can't. You can't just.
I don't always just blame the owners for that because I do think Jurgen likes a settled team.
Yeah.
And what if he thinks it's working? He doesn't want to break that up. You know, when we won the Premier League, we won the Champions League, yeah, all right. And everyone keeps going on about we didn't sign anyone that after we won the Champions League when we was at the highest we could possibly be. You know, is that the best we could possibly buy anyone? Jurgen has come out multiple times in interviews and says he didn't want anyone that season because he thought this team was going somewhere and was going to do something special the following season, and he didn't want to disrupt it with buying anybody. That's why we only bought young youth players that year to buy youth players in. That is why, you know, everyone goes to FSG for that. I see it all the time, but it's actually Klopp said it himself.
Yeah,
he didn't want to bring anyone in because he's never had a settled team. When he won something at Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, the following year Bayern Munich bought their two best players. And because no one got sold, and he kept the core of their team, and he said, this team's doing something special this season, I can feel it. He didn't want to bring anyone in to disrupt that. And when you look on it, yes, he was right, because we won the Premier League, but it's also why we're in this problem now at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one from that. But, you know, we do need players, man. No one's going to sit here and pretend we don't need footballers. That's just ridiculous. There's no Liverpool fan. You can't sit here and go like, no, everything's rosy. You know, once the players all come back from fitness, we're going to be firing again. No. We need players. You can see that. Canate is going to be great for this team. You know, he's an absolute beast. Gavendal, is it Gavendal? Is that his name? He looks. I can't believe he's 20.
This is it. And
the man's got a full-grown beard.
Yeah, and he's a big Liverpool fan.
Yeah, he's a Liverpool fan. He said it himself, didn't he? He said it himself.
Yeah. It makes sense.
And he's a unit as well. And it's like G was saying. I remember G was saying the reason like Canate is good for his age is because of the size of him. You know, he's 23, but he's massive. You know, and so he's got the power and strength already. And because he's already got that, the rest of his game will come quicker. So he doesn't have to worry about building his size or building his athleticism or building his pace and building his play as well. He's got that already. So he can concentrate and then actually building himself up to be a better footballer. That's what's so good about Canate.
The thing is, we also need to act quickly on some of these players that we identify. You know what I mean? If they're good enough, because you know we wait, and once we wait, it's just literally, you know, money's just going to go up higher and higher and higher. You know, we could have got a Jude. You know, we talk about Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham could have been ours. All right, finally, I totally get that it might have taken him a while to become. He had to develop as a player. Went to Dortmund, etc. But you know, we need to act on these players fast, because if we don't act on these players fast, you know, we end up being priced out the market, and that's always been the thing with Liverpool. You know, I think that's the one thing that I've been disappointed in terms of finding fresh talent. You know, we find fresh talent, we wait too long, they become something else, and then we just simply don't go in for them because we just don't compete in terms of bids. You know, we just don't entertain that kind of stuff, and some of that needs to change. And I'm hoping this, you know, with all this transfer committee thing, these transfer people that have left and that, I hope it just, you know, we need to sort that out very, very quick.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, G's right though. Our subs bench has been terrible. There is no doubt about it. Yeah, we do need a bench more like that. I have seen us have a bench like that, to be fair. When Fabinho, Jota, and Diaz have been on the bench and had a good team lineup. But that was last season when no one got sold yet.
Yeah.
We had a better squad, and we had a better squad. So and we had a bench like that. And I remember everyone was like, "Oh my god, that is a bench we got." And then we sold everyone.
Yeah. Times we had like two goalkeepers on the bench just to keep numbers up.
Yeah, it's just it's just big up, Andrew. Yeah, it's madness. But guys, I'm gonna have to leave it there because I'm starving. Been going almost 2.5 hours now, so I am absolutely starving. That was a Liverpool show, guys. It was good to talk about Liverpool again during this World Cup. I missed it.
Yeah.
No, I love the World Cup. I know a lot of Liverpool YouTubers don't want to talk about Liverpool at the moment because everything's going on, but I could talk about Liverpool every day of the week. I know it don't. It's my club I love.
Yeah.
It's even if we're shit at the moment and all that, and people have had enough, I want a little break. I'm like, I'd rather talk about Liverpool than England and France and Brazil in a World Cup, to be fair. But that was a Liverpool show, guys. Well, I will be back on Friday. I'm having a day off tomorrow. Go spend it with the family. Go have a nice day. Maybe go for a meal or something. Have a good day tomorrow. And then I'll be back on Friday for the watch-alongs, guys, because we got Argentina and Netherlands tomorrow, Friday night. Then Saturday night, we got England versus France. So strap yourselves in. It's going to be good.
Come on, Jude.
Before we go, predictions to the World Cup, guys. So, who's winning their quarter-final games? Argentina, Netherlands, John.
Netherlands.
Netherlands, how dare you?
Argentina.
Argentina. Is Argentina's everyone's second club if England lose?
No.
Just for the Messi factor.
I actually want France. I actually want France to win. But I mean, like the World Cup. Having said that, you know what I mean. We're playing them, so
Has anyone won? When was the last time someone won back-to-back World Cups?
I can't remember.
it's a good point.
Is it the Brazil side?
It's not the
Has
Brazil
anyone
side.
actually ever done it?
That's what has it actually been done? I don't think it
I
has.
can't remember.
Haven't Brazil? I'm sure Brazil did, didn't they?
Did Brazil win back-to-back World Cups? I know they got a back-to-back World Cup finals. They got 3 in a row, didn't they? But
Well, that could be it.
They lost 2. They lost one of them to France, didn't they? 98.
I'm going to check that
I
out.
don't think anyone's actually done it.
I can't remember, man. But I am if England to win the World Cup. But if England can't, I want Messi to win it. I'm just Team Messi, man. Yeah, that Pat-Man's the same.
It was Italy.
Italy. When was that? Was that 80?
1930, 1934 and 1938.
What was the last team to do it?
And then it was Brazil in 1958 and 1962.
Jesus Christ. So that's going back some, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going back some.
Beginning times. Eh?
Yeah, Pele won both back to back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
Could be Mbappe soon.
yeah,
if
Mbappe
England-
copying it.
if England can't win the World Cup, then I want Brazil to win it.
Brazil to win. I look Portugal, guys. I mean, Portugal a heck of a squad.
I know, but I don't want Portugal to win it because
I think Portugal might struggle to get past Morocco.
I don't want them to win it because of Jada. Jada's obviously missed out in the World Cup, and
I don't want to win because Ronaldo. Can you imagine?
He's a
Yeah.
flop.
The two in the middle, I can't stand them for who they play for. So no, thank you.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine Ronaldo wins the World Cup and he's not played any part of this World Cup?
Typically him, he probably just scored a goal in the final and that's it.
Yeah.
And then he's won it for them all. That's how they'll look at it. But no, I mean, I want France to win if England don't progress. Do you know what I mean? I always rate the teams that, you know, whoever beats us, I always want them to go ahead and win because they've literally beaten us. But obviously, with my family background and stuff, France would be the next one.
But no. Yeah, France, England's going to be a game. Do you know what? The England-France game, I can see England. I can see England matching up quite well against France because I've been watching this French team a lot in this World Cup, and
It could be a very tight game.
I think France are a good team, but I think they're relying on individuality too much. And
Do you know-
I watch them. They don't press; they retreat. They don't press; they just retreat. And
It's true. It's true.
I think England. Yes, look. I think everyone's going a little over the top with England at the moment. I've said this myself, my World Cup watch along yesterday. That when with England, if you look at England's squad should be a quarter-final, semi-final team. If you look at their squad, and also if you look at the teams we've played, we should be where we are. We should have beaten everyone we played. England under Gareth Southgate. If you look at their tournament football, they have beaten everyone they should beat, right? But then they come up against a Croatia in the semi-final and they lose. And they come up against an Italy in a final and they lose, right?
Yeah.
They're not beating the teams yet that they shouldn't beat. And that's my problem at the moment with this England team. I think We get a bit too over. Like we've played. England should beat Senegal in the last 16 of the World Cup, right? They should beat. They should beat Iran. They should beat Wales. They should have beat America, to be fact. But America got a hoodoo over us because we've never beaten them in the World Cup, right? And it's just, so we've beaten everyone we should play. And now this France test is going to be a big one. But I look at this squad and look at this England squad and think, you know what? There's weaknesses to this French side. I don't think they're great in midfield. I think Tchouameni's been excellent. Rabiot's been decent, but Rabiot, if you put it, get up against Rabiot, he goes missing, right? Tchouameni's been excellent, and I think England have got the pace as well on the counter attack to hurt France. The same as France has got the counter attack to play England. And my only worry about that is that England play free at the back against France, which I hope they don't do.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I hope they stick to what they do now, because the thing is, when you do try to plan to face tactically, I don't like how Southgate is. I think in terms of what he does for the team, the team, as far as I'm concerned, is just as good as France, if not better, you would argue, because we play in the best we play in the best competition. Having said that, if tactically, that's where he'll get it wrong. If he does do something like that, the team are not going to play to their strengths, which is what they've been doing recently. And you know what? They're going to lose. But I think player for player, apart from the Mbappe, we're good.
Yeah, there ain't much in it.
No, there isn't.
Pickford and Lloris. I mean,
yeah. Look at Giroud though. But Giroud, he's not all that. But you know what? He's had an epic one.
Yeah, the man gets goals, man. Giroud, that man just gets goals. But yeah, there ain't much in it, and Phil Foden for me has to play, right? I've been saying this since the World Cup started. Obviously I'm not a massive fan of Man City by any stretch of the imagination, but I see quality when I see quality. It don't matter who they paid for, And
He's a brilliant player. He's a brilliant player.
Is quality. Harry don't play for this England the first 11 for England every time we play is beyond me. He has to play, all right? And I know a lot of people have been saying about Saka this, Saka that. But against France, I wouldn't start Saka. My front three for against France would be Rashford, Foden, and Harry Kane. I want Foden going up against. I want a Rashford going up against Koundé. I want Rashford going up against Koundé because I don't think Koundé's all that. And I want Foden going up against Hernandez because Hernandez loves getting forward, and he leaves a lot of space behind him. And Foden is so good at getting in behind that space and making things happen. And when he gets on the ball, he's so good at running with it. So that would be my front three, and then use Saka as the super sub, because I think it was wrong for Rashford to be dropped in the last game because he scored 2 goals. Rashford's been good, and
isn't he better off the bench though? Would you not?
Maybe, but against France, I just feel like he could. Especially, I think it's going to be like I think France might have a little bit more of the ball, right? But England on that counter attack, with Harry Kane's going to play the Griezmann role like Griezmann does for France, yeah? Griezmann, by the way, I don't think anyone's given Griezmann enough.
Oh, no, he's been epic. He's been epic.
Has been immense for France in this World Cup.
Yeah.
Probably their second best player behind Mbappe. I know a lot of people are talking about Dembele. Dembele looks amazing when he's on the ball, but what does he actually do with it?
This is the thing. When he's on the ball, it's true.
I mean? He's got an assist or a goal, I'm not sure. But he's great on the ball, though. His silent runs, you can't stop him. Man's lighting him. But what does he do with the ball after? That is what I always say with Dembele. Where with Mbappe, you're looking at end product with Mbappe constantly. You know what I mean? And he's good on the ball. You know what I mean? He's got the whole package. When I look at Dembele, I'm like, he's tremendous on the ball. If you're watching football for the first time and you watch Dembele run with that ball and the way he takes players on, the way he moves his hips and that, and drops the shoulder, you're like, this is the best player I've ever seen. But then what does he do after it?
That's the problem. That is the problem. His end product.
Yeah, and I think England can expose that, but then England still defensively, I think, have an issue because Harry Maguire against pace is. Look, Senegal should have scored in the first 3 minutes when that player went right. Is it Dia? Skinned Maguire and went right through him, and then he just got his foot to the ball before he scored.
Yeah.
If that's Mbappe, or Dembele, then you're in trouble, aren't you? So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a real tight game, but I wouldn't be shocked if England won. It won't be. I don't think it'd be a shock at all if England won that game, but it's going to be a tight match.
It'll be tight. It'll be tight. I have a feeling it'll probably go to extra time.
Yeah, and England don't do great when they go time, do they?
We'll
My
see.
thing is, if England, right, we're seeing when England score first sometimes. So when we play the big teams, because we scored first against Italy in the Euros final, didn't we?
Yeah.
And still lost the game. If we score first against France, I think it benefits us more because France will come onto us.
And we can expose them on the counter.
Which will then get them on the counter attack. Because we have got good forwards. There's not many gunmen. You look at a lot of these teams. I think Brazil, England, France are the real three that got firepower in their team, and Portugal. They're the 3 or 4 teams that are real got firepower in their squads. Look at Spain. They went out because they got no firepower.
Argentina, no?
Take Messi out of this team.
Mm.
He's literally carrying them at the moment on his back.
Yeah.
He's literally carrying them on his back at the moment. I mean, look at Lautaro Martinez should be golden boot winner. The amount of times Messi set him up, he can't hit a barn door.
It's true.
Absolutely useless. A terrible footballer. But yeah, the World Cup quarterfinals is going to be interesting. I'm hoping Argentina beat the Netherlands, but just for the Messi factor, because I want to see Brazil Argentina semi-final.
That would be epic.
That'd be mad. Argentina and then England Portugal semi-final. I mean that could be the one. But
that's what I'm worried about. I think we'll beat France. We'll lose Portugal. I hope not. But
and I don't want to see it. This is what everyone's wet dream is, ain't it? Portugal Argentina final. It's what everyone's wet dream is because they want to see Ronaldo versus Messi in a World Cup final. And I don't want to see it.
I think that'd be a boring final.
I don't want to see it because I can see I can see Portugal shit ass in their way to winning it as well.
Yeah, that's that is the thing. I actually think they would.
Yeah, so I don't want to see it. But man, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I'll be back Friday, guys. John, tell everyone where they can find you, my man.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Glasgow Red TV, and Twitter, Glasgow Red TV. Jimmy, thank you very much for having me on, mate. Always a pleasure to your show.
You got any shows coming up, John?
I've got one coming up tonight at 10 o'clock.
There you go, guys. Go and follow John. Go and subscribe to John. He's got a show at 10 p.m. tonight. Go and give that a watch. Baz, yourself, my man.
Yeah, you can find me on LVFC TV. I have actually got a show coming up in a couple of days, so watch this space. It's going to be my first one. It's going to be a very interesting subject regarding Jurgen Klopp. But big up, guys. Thank you for having me, Jamie. And make sure people are smashing the likes, commenting, and subscribing on Jamie's Epic channels.
Yep, guys, big up. Thank you very much. Guys, you know what to do. Go and subscribe to the lads there. John's on tonight, and then Baz has got a special video in a couple of nights, guys. Make sure you hit the notification bell on their channel so you know when they go live. Guys, I will see you again on Friday afternoon for the first watch along of the quarterfinals. So big up to everyone. Thanks for joining.